Or is it like, hey, if they lose the same way, we're going to be talking about other things. But say they lose 20-18. All right? That's a good offense. You held them to 20 points. Say you lose 20-18, and Derrick Henry's held to 87 yards. Okay? Are they allowed to talk next week against Green Bay?
You mean you're 0-2, though?
It's not about going out there and we're going to whoop their ass.
Yeah.
It's, well, is it tough to take on Jordan Love? Is it tough to take on those? Like, at what point do you just have to stop no matter what because of your record?
It's a good question.
You're damn right it is.
I think, Kenny, this is for the not real life folks, the folks that live on the internet and get in fights with other fans. They're the ones that end up having to pay the price. Right? Like, they have to have it rubbed in their face that their team talked and then couldn't back it up or couldn't win. So those are the people that are going to be the most annoyed, and then they turn on the Browns. Then they're like, guys, I'm trying to argue for my favorite team, and you guys are talking all sorts of smack, and you're losing, and you're dancing, and we're still the laughing stock of the NFL. We're still bottom of the barrel. We're still a team that Vegas doesn't think has a chance to win many games. Like, those are the people who are going to be the most annoyed with it.
216-474-0092. Let me ask you point blank. Do you think the Browns should be talking at all?
I would probably have it measured. I don't think I'm doing anything more to fire up Baltimore at this point. I wouldn't go that way in a game you're, double-digit dogs. But I have no problem with them answering the questions the way they did. Like, yeah, what are they supposed to do? Just back down?
I heard the Jonathan Nick argument. Now, it was just a promo. I didn't hear it live. I just heard that promo before the show. I don't think they're going to run it up on you because of the comments. I think they're going to win the football game if they're going to win the football game, and that's going to be it. I do think final scores matter. Like, if you go out there and you get blown out 40-0, probably not going to want to hear a lot of trash talk getting ready for Green Bay.
Yeah.
If you play a tight football game, I think that this is what motivates these guys. This is what's made them a sharp-edged defense in the past. I know we have 1 year where that's been bad, but we've had a couple of years where that's been very good. And I say go ahead and keep doing it because you're 12.5-point underdogs anyway, so you can go out there and be quiet and get your ass beat in the first place, or you can be loud and get your ass beat. You might as well try to carry some sort of an edge and go into a football game with some emotion and with some passion. 216-474-0092. Should the Browns be talking trash at all? And this is a question of class. No, I would not want to do it. You guys are getting this confused. We hear from a Baltimore radio show host coming up in 5 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Fanatics.
Choice Cabinet. ChoiceCabinet.com.
Hey everybody, Andy Baskin for Choice Cabinets. 60 to 70% off retail. That's why I love them. And now more opportunity for you at 4856 Richmond Road. They've expanded their store. Go check it out. Choice Cabinets, ChoiceCabinet.com.
Whenever you need to talk college football, we've got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
So why do you think they don't want him to talk trash? I got somebody else talking trash coming up here momentarily.
As the fans, if you're a Browns fan, you feel
don't think
like
they're gonna back it up.
You can't back it up. And then who gets made fun of? Like, yeah, the players, like whatever, players go at it, but you, the fan, especially in rivalry games, like when it comes to the Steelers or it comes to Baltimore, like you might not work with Baltimore fans, but if you are active on social media, you're just arguing every day to argue. Yeah, you have to bear the brunt of it.
You know, we have to understand, though, that these are critical games. And Grant Delpit is not a garbage football player here. You know, he's not an also-ran. He's not a forgettable one. Grant Delpit's been a pretty good football player. He's not the best defensive player you have on your team, but he's not garbage. But we have to understand how important these games are, not just because you want to win them, because you want to try to do something this year, but also even if you're thinking big picture. You know, I know Mary Kay said something to us yesterday, and maybe this is going to go to a different direction than what I wanted to take this segment. Mary Kay had said Super Bowl window. They believe their last Super Bowl window is closed, and they're trying to open up their next Super Bowl window. And that had a ton of reaction yesterday at 8:20 in the morning. Even myself, I go, can you describe, let's back it up a second, can you describe Super Bowl window? Like, I was a little taken aback by it. These are important games because Baltimore is a Super Bowl contender. Green Bay next week is a Super Bowl contender, and you're giving them 10 days off before they play you. That's going to go really well for us. Detroit's supposed to be a playoff team. The Vikings are supposed to be a playoff team. Pittsburgh, they didn't go get Aaron Rodgers for nothing. The first chance you have to let up is that Week 7 game against Miami, who's already having player-only meetings. So I know that, hey, Mike McDaniel showed up in a Lamborghini, might be leaving in a U-Haul. If you play well in these games, I don't want to turn, but we have to do moral victory. I don't want to turn it into just that. You know, I think you start to look at the roster a little bit differently. If you play well in these games and win a few of them, you go, well, how far away are we?
Yeah, we're not a bottom three roster like some of the sites tried to argue.
Now it may look like, gosh, if it's 0-6, it may look perilous. It may look like a terrible situation, in that, hey, maybe I ain't saying that about Grant Delpit anymore or any one of these other guys. But if you win a couple of these games, we know what the quarterback situation is. We know what the wide receiver situation is. But if you win a few of these games and you go, okay, I guess we're really not that far away. Because Cincinnati's supposed to be a team that vies for the playoffs. And I go, boy, it didn't seem like we were that much worse than the Cincinnati Bengals.
We were better than the Bengals.
I think a lot of people would say you were better.
I thought our roster might have looked better than the Bengals.
If you go roster to roster and see where they are, it's going to put a lot of pressure on some kid who's getting ready to play quarterback tomorrow in college. It's going to put a lot of pressure on that young man, because now you got to hit the ground running with whoever you take. But there is measuring sticks here, and they've been a trash-talking team before. They've been an annoying trash-talking team before. Well, if they're going to say something, you might as well say something. Go ahead and say it.
Has it been a Schwartz thing, or did it predate Schwartz that these guys talked a lot? I mean, Denzel was there before. Miles was there before, obviously.
I think it ebbs and flows. Like, you remember Danny Shelton celebrating the tackle he made when they were down by like 30 against Houston. I think that you do need to know time, place, things like that. You know, if you go out and you get a big sack and you're down 30-7 late in the fourth, probably not the time to go out there and celebrate and do dances and things like that. But hey, man, you're rolling. Feel it. Feel the moment. If you have a chance to go out there and win a game and steal a soul while you're doing it, go ahead and feel the moment. But if they're not going to be that great of a football team, and that's what gets them going, then I can't have them be like, hey, we think you're going to be bad and you should be quiet while you're bad doing it. There will be a time where probably they are one and whatever, and then you are going to be upset going, hey, man, shut up. Be quiet. It's week 2.
Do you think there is a divide in the fan base based on age? Like the older fan?
No, I don't think so here. I don't think so here.
Doesn't want talk, is always against the spouting off, doesn't like touchdown celebrations, doesn't like...
we are getting a little bit older.
Because me and you grew up, and we never cared about that stuff.
And I think there are some 60-plus, 70-year-old listeners who are listening to us, but I also think there's more 40-year-olds, more 30-year-olds, more 20-year-olds than there are those. And they grew up in a different generation. And we see the greats, and the greats, they wear their emotions on the sleeves. They make up things of disrespect. It's like, hey, man, you're going to have to do something to get yourself motivated. You can't tell me to go out there and fight my ass off to win a game, but not let me go through my process. They have to have confidence in themselves. Like, you may think they're not going to be that good, but why can't they have confidence in themselves? Why can't a professional athlete, a guy who also gets paid to play the game, like Grant Delpit, say, yeah, you know what? We play the game too. And I've tackled Derrick Henry before. You guys make him out to be some sort of a Zeus. He's a good football player. Like, I think Grant Delpit would say he's a good football player, but it's not that hard. Is that a totally ridiculous thing to say?
No.
Or is this a Friday before a Browns game and I'm afraid of what's going to happen? If you guys think that, go ahead. Let me have it. That's fine.
The only devil's advocate I could come up with is maybe there was some hope that the Ravens would not be taking you all that seriously. That sometimes is when an inferior team, when a double-digit dog wins. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
My next
That's
retort,
out the window.
My next retort was going to be they're desperate for a win. They're 0-1. Their fans are talking about, man, we might have just lost home field advantage in the playoffs because you lose the tiebreaker to Buffalo with that loss by coughing up that lead late. So I think it's hard for me to fathom a world where the Ravens weren't going to get up for this game.
You're 0-1. It's a home game. That's what's going to happen. Rob Long was on Afternoon Drive yesterday. Rob Long is the morning show host over at 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. He was asked about the great big celebration that's going on in Baltimore. And, well, you would think, what do you think he's going to say about this? That he likes it? Well, guess what? He likes it.
First of all, it's week one. Traditionally, these things are done week one. However, in this situation, you would probably, if you didn't want to be petty, not do it week one. I think it is petty. However, I like it. I think it's something done intentionally. I like it. The shoe was on the other foot, and you got the new Browns, and you won the Super Bowls, and you had Ray Lewis, and you had Ed Reed, you'd be waving it in our face. I get it 100%. I understand. I'm not sitting here saying, you guys are crying about it, and you need to stop crying. No, you have every right to cry foul. But sitting where I'm sitting, I don't care.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know Rob Long, so I don't even need to say I respect him. No, I wouldn't. I think it's a classless gesture. I think it doesn't take too much to change some things around and be classier than that. You want to do it against Detroit next week?
You don't think you'd be having fun with it?
Because it's a shot at the fans. I don't take it as a shot at Myles Garrett. Like, some people are getting this totally mixed up this week. I'm not defensive of the guys in uniform. I'm defensive of the fans. I think this is a shot at the fans. Like, what do you want me to... But
isn't that what's supposed to be fun about a rivalry is poking and prodding fan bases?
Should I fight fire with fire and get down in the gutter with them and have Bob Irsay Day here on the show for the rest of the morning? And have big clips of Bob Irsay?
They'd probably be a little confused.
I think they would be. I think they'd be very confused. So what's done is done in the past. I'm just saying you don't need to continuously dredge it up. And they continuously dredge it up, and I think we know why. It's because Art Modell being kept out of the Hall of Fame. And I think this is a direct poke at the fans. And if he wants to go there and take it to that level and say, fine, he wants to make fun of the fans, fine. That's his level if he wants to get down in the dirt and be classless with them. But I'm not going to do that. If the Pittsburgh Steelers were to have the same history, I've done a lot of trolling of Steelers fans, and I've had a lot of fun trolling with Steelers fans, even though, hey, there's been times where I've had to sit there and take it, like when Duck Hodges beat us. That was a very, very, very ugly Sunday into Monday for me. But if they actually lost a team, I'm not doing that because I think it's depraved.
So I was going to ask, so it's really hard to say, but, I talked about the rumors that we were going to get way back when, we were going to get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let's say we would have stolen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and like I said earlier in the week, I don't think anybody would have cared. I think everybody would have been like, yeah, now we get a team. We get a team back. This is how the NFL works. It's a business. It's a dog-eat-dog world. All right, so if we would have had the Buccaneers, we would have won a couple Super Bowls, and then we had the Buccaneers scheduled on opening night. You don't think there would be?
I wouldn't rub their fans' nose.
I know
in
it's
it.
impossible to say because it didn't happen.
I would not rub their fans' nose in it.
I'm just basing it on how their fans seem to be loving this.
I
just imagine all fans are kind of the same, aren't they?
No, I'm not. I'm a fan. I'm not the same.
Yeah,
I'm,
but we
I'm a
didn't
fan.
have
I'm not the same.
It's not the same. That's what I'm saying. It's hard for you to conjure up that same situation.
Well,
but had it have happened, and had we have won Super Bowls, and had there been a war of words between the fan bases over the years.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is the truth. If we can steal a team and then go win championships in that sport, like if you want to sit there and steal the Columbus Blue Jackets, I'm not going to rub their noses in it. If we were to steal the Columbus Blue Jackets and then go win 2 Stanley Cups, it's the only other scenario I can think of right now off the top of my head that would actually be somewhat even feasible.
Back.
Yes,
yeah.
If they got a team back. I'm not going to do anything like that. I mean, why is it so hard to have some class as an organization? 216-474-0092. Oh, we'll bring it back here. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
Anthony Lima.
constant infusion of young talent. And I think that all links back to the cost of the Deshaun Watson trade. You know, when you go 3 years without a first-round pick, you have a lot to make up for. And it looks like the Browns are starting to do that. I mean, we'll see. Maybe over the next week or two, they get even more help with Quinshon Judkins coming back.
Listen for the MMQB's Albert Breer, Tuesdays at 5:20 on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
.745 about last night, where Ross Bjork is an absolute genius. There's some people who certainly disagree with that, who are Ohio State fans, hardcore Ohio State fans. Also, Daryl Rada going to join us 8:22 this morning. Nathan Zagura going to join us at 9:01. We got coming in hot at 9:45. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. 216-474-0092. Rob Long was on Afternoon Drive yesterday. If he wants to get down in the gutter, he can go ahead and get down in the gutter. But I think it's a classless move, and I think to agree with it is classless.
First of all, it's week one. Traditionally, these things are done week one. However, in this situation, you would probably, if you didn't want to be petty, not do it week one. I think it is petty. However, I like it. I think it's something done intentionally. I like it. The shoe was on the other foot, and you got the new Browns, and you won the Super Bowls, and you had Ray Lewis, and you had Ed Reed, you'd be waving it in our face. I get it 100%. I understand. I'm not sitting here saying, you guys are crying about it, and you need to stop crying. No. You have every right to cry foul. But sitting where I'm sitting, I don't care.
That's Rob Long, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. I think it's trashy. I think it's trashy to agree.
I think he's kind of admitting it's trashy.
I know. I'm just making sure everybody knows it's trashy. There is a difference. Because
how do you think Ozzie Newsom's going to feel when he's out there for all of this?
I don't think he cares anymore. I don't think he cares. He's in the Hall of Fame. His bust's in there. His legacy he's got two legacies. One, he's known as a fantastic football player. I mean, you think about what Ozzie Newsome has accomplished in his career. Let's call it credit where it's due here. You played for Paul Bryant at Alabama. You were a fantastic football player. Came close a couple times. Weren't able to cash in. And then you became a fantastic. I mean, there's multiple generations of fans know you for three different things. For excellence in football.
First African American GM,
believe so,
in football. So that's obviously a huge deal.
So you span three generations throughout your playing and managerial career of football. So credit where it's due, respect where it's supposed to be given. I don't think he cares anymore. I mean, if I were in Baltimore for 30 years. Is it part of the gag or is it part of the thing of it? Maybe. But what I don't like about the Ravens doing it is what I said earlier this week. They claim to be a holier-than-thou organization. Everything is the Raven way and we do it the right way. I mean, how many different examples do we have to give where they are no more morally superior than any other NFL football team? They are not. They are not some special case. They win a lot of football games. They were a 5-win football team, it'd be a different story. The only thing that makes them special is that they win, just like every other good football team out there. When you're good and you win, things tend to go your way. We don't tend to pay attention to some of the ugly stuff out there. It's the truth. It's professional sports in America. But when you act a certain way, I'm not going to stand for it. And if this were a shot at the players, go ahead and let the players stand. I enjoy taunting on the field. I enjoy the show of it. I enjoy that Jerry Jeudy, I'll be honest, I enjoy that Jerry Jeudy is John. I enjoy that Grant Delpit has something to say. From just the emotional standpoint of the entertainment of it, hey, if we were in Chicago, this gives me a reason to at least check in on this game. I wouldn't think it's going to go the Browns' way, but at least gives me a reason to check in on it. Gives me a reason there could be a highlight somewhere in there. But this is against the fans. This is, to me, a shot at the fans. They've won. They've had their success. I don't believe any of the crap that they've thrown out there over this last week. Well, we were doing this in March. No, that's garbage. You can have all these people fly in at a different time. You can change flights. You had 5 months to get ready for this. Don't tell me anything. I'm sure the Ravens band of grown individuals playing in the band at the end of the field isn't going to change their plans. Oh, we were available this Sunday. We're not available this Sunday. That's garbage. It's the Ravens band. That's what they're there for. Formerly the Colts band. But so if anybody should know, it should be those fans. But again,
are you saying this because
I don't need their pity and they act like they don't care? I don't need them to care.
To me, I don't know. obviously we're on the wrong side of things here. We seem to be on the wrong side of a lot of things in sports. But the fan on fan stuff, like you're saying, it's against the fans. Isn't that what we love in sports? Is for the fans to, have, and the teams also do this on social media. They're always instigating with other fans and other fan bases. Like, aren't they doing that constantly? And doesn't the NFL love drumming that up and driving the contempt? Yeah, because we always say the thing that kind of stinks about the NFL is that the rivalries are going away. It's not what it is in college sports.
Yeah, but maybe it's not the right idea to to start to spark a crowd that, again, you have to go play there. Their fans are going to be there. The fans are going to be here or the fans are going to be there in Baltimore. Eventually, their fans are going to come here. I don't think it's necessarily a great idea to start to get a fan base riled up over a very bad memory when they haven't had very good memories since.
But
I don't think it's a very good idea when a fan base was throwing literal sections of seats out of the stadium. I don't know if it's a great idea to start to jog their memory about those things.
You say that, but the NFL clearly embraces this stuff because they allow Tennessee to wear those throwback uniforms.
And I think that's a trashy move too.
But that's what I mean. I think the NFL loves it. They love having this. They love that we're talking about this. They love that builds up.
But it doesn't make it an excuse. If the NFL believes in it, if they believe that they want to get trashy with it as well, then I think it's trashy for the NFL.
I think the NFL's complicit. I think they absolutely knew.
When they let the team move.
They're complicit.
Of course they're complicit.
No, I mean in this situation, in the scheduling situation.
Whole thing, from the very beginning. Why are they complicit in the scheduling situation?
Because I think the Ravens, they did have this. People knew, last season ticket holders knew that week one this was going to go down. And then, what do you know? The Browns are scheduled week one.
Okay.
Their home game, their first home game, I should say.
Yeah, maybe. Fine. I'll say nasty things about them too.
I think the NFL helps create all these storylines in a game that otherwise is a double-digit favorite. You even said more people are going to maybe pay attention to this.
That's true.
Maybe they're going to know about it. You're having some national voices. I think Chris Canty was another one that had things to say about this and loving every minute of it.
But also for the ugliness. And I just think it's this big thing of you guys sit there and you rip on the Browns fan base, but then you are the same people that ride by the yard and take the stick and run it along the fence, and then you're surprised that the dog reaches out and bites you. Like, you can't act surprised by that. So, again, if there's some guys, if I see video of guys getting in a fist fight in a bathroom, I go, well, maybe you wouldn't necessarily have. You maybe would because, you get 13 Miller Lights into things. Maybe things will change anyway, even if everything was kumbaya before. But I just don't think this helps. I don't think rolling it out and having Art Modell's son and Glenn Denning and all the people that made it possible to move the football team that has not had very much success ever since, while you have just enjoyed an embarrassment of riches, it seems. I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to troll Browns fans. I really don't. So, fine, go right on ahead. And I wouldn't do it to them. I don't need to do it to them. Not going to stoop to that level. Gary in Cleveland, hello.
Hey, Ken. Hey, when you go to Shard tonight, make sure you take your golf clubs because you're right across the street from one of the best courses in Ohio.
I can't go. I don't really golf regardless that much anymore, Gary. You think I could fit a round in during Friday Night Touchdown?
Well, all you got to do is go across the street and play Fowler's Mill.
Maybe I'll have the photographer go. Ed likes to play a little golf. What's on your mind, Gary?
Hey, I think you're making a big deal about this.
Of course I am.
I'm 67 years old. I can care less that they're having a celebration. The Ravens got their Super Bowl because the NFL gave it to Art Modell because they knew he was selling the team. I can care less.
They gave it to. Wait a minute. They gave it to him, Gary.
Hell yeah. You don't think it was fixed? All of a sudden, Art Modell got a Super Bowl and then he sold the team.
I don't think it was fixed. No, I don't think it was fixed.
Did they fix the whole season and make them one of the greatest defenses of all time?
I don't think that it was real. I think it was a made-up thing to go, here, Art, you're never going to get into the Hall of Fame because Cleveland won't let you. You've done a lot for the league. We're going to give you your Super Bowl. And then you go out in the sunset, which happened.
Gary, it's easy to have. If you believe that, thank you very much for the call. If you think that it is conspiracy, it's very easy to say that we're making too big of a deal of it. I obviously don't think it's conspiracy. I obviously think it's a trashy thing to do. And I think that anybody who wants to celebrate it is associated with trash. If you want to go ahead and be trashy, fine. But I think less of you personally. And maybe you don't care about that. That's fine. But I think less of you as a person. 216-474-0092. If you want to go out there and sell, somebody just sent me this Chris Canty quote. I think Chris Canty's a clown regardless. He reacts to things he doesn't even know about. He doesn't have any good context of it. I don't think he's a very fine radio show host whatsoever, but that's me. Oh, I know. He could stuff me in a trash can, I'm sure. Whatever. Fine.
Let the trash talking continue in Cleveland.
What? I mean, if you want to go ahead and be classless about things.
Just seems personal now.
Well, did he not make it personal about the city of Cleveland? Did he not do it? Chris Canty wants to make it personal. I don't even know if this is a true quote, but if this is a true quote, then Chris Canty gets my ass.
I think this is exactly what they were hoping for.
Ain't no one here listening to him, so it don't matter.
I think this is accomplishing exactly what they wanted to accomplish. This is what they love.
What, getting under my skin of all people?
Absolutely. I think they absolutely love and relish every part of this.
Are you happy that you got me upset?
I don't think I got you upset at all. I think the words of these former Ravens are really getting under your skin.
Yeah, it is. So enjoy being classless. Enjoy being trashy. The fake holier than thou organization. 8:20. Daryl Ryder going to join us on the show. It's not a matter of time. Right? It is a matter of time. It's not a matter of record. Oh, I got that one mixed up, didn't I, there, Owen? It's not a matter of record. It's a matter of time. Ken Carman, Anthony Lyman, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Oh, Tom Merriman Legal.
Shepard Love pass for 2 touchdowns, Packers off to a 2-0 start. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
About last night coming up at 7:45. All right, I've said my piece. I ain't going to say no more. Clearly no one wants me to say any more. Just lay down and take it. Just roll over and die. That's it. All right, got it. I'm on the verge of letting you host the rest of the show. I'll walk out of here. What? You just love it. You love it. I'm not going to sit here and be your clown today. I'll be their clown. I ain't going to be your clown. Say something. It's a radio show. Go ahead. Talk.
I'm noticing how emotional you're getting about this, and it's led to callers apparently calling up and saying that we had a Super Bowl rigged for Art Modell.
Well, I'm getting emails. Ken, it sounds like sour grapes. Yeah, it's sour grapes. How is it not sour grapes? Of course it's sour grapes. It's a trash-ass move. It's a trashy move by a trash organization. That's trash. And it is sour grapes.
Now, what I do wonder is, when all is said and done, are they going to, first of all, are they showing this celebration? How much are they really even, on the network feed? This will be a CBS broadcast, right? How much are the fans at home even going to get of this celebration? And when all is said and done, are we going to look at it and go, oh, that's what we got all worked up over for a week?
I said my piece. That's all I said. If you guys don't want me to make a big deal about it, fine. I got a bunch of people in the YouTube chat saying, who cares? They don't care. They just think the Browns are a bunch of clowns. They suck anyway. It ain't a defense of the Browns. You guys get this mixed up. Fine. Whatever. You don't want me to get... I'm not going to sit here and get loud and lose my voice over you. If you don't care anymore...
Well,
I think it's sad that someone else who's from here doesn't want to get defensive over 95. But that, whatever.
Well, I think I'm more...
It's just sad.
If it's what we're talking about, getting defensive, and I think you had agreed with me early in the week, our real complaint is with the Browns. Because if the Browns were good, nobody would care. If the Browns had won Super Bowls, we'd be like, good. I'm glad the other team moved that was cursed or whatever, and now we got a team that wins. But because we don't win, because we've had bad organizations, because we've had bad ownership, because we've had all sorts of bad situations, big-time busts, and things haven't gone our way, we're looking at other mechanisms, other avenues to, put our real feelings out there, when in the end, it's the Browns. If the Browns won, we wouldn't care. It'd be like, yeah, have your celebration.
But it
celebrate all you want.
It doesn't bother you that they're doing this. There ain't nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. Don't bother you.
It sucks. It sucks.
Make you. The only thing they can do is actually win the game.
But that's part
of it. A lot of us don't pick them to win the game. And even if they won the game,
part of it
even
is,
if they won a week 2 game, what does it matter in the long term?
Part of it is
I can play a nihilist as well if you want me to. Fine, whatever.
I think part of it. I do think this will go by, and I mean, younger fans don't care at all, obviously, and I'm seeing people in the YouTube chat that don't seem to care about this at all.
Yeah.
So
you don't care? Well, fine.
I think I'm just
I'll just sit here and make up things about Shedeur Sanders all morning.
Honestly, I blame the Browns for me being apathetic about it. I think the Browns are the ones that really should get most of the negativity here, because again, if we just won and had all these great memories, we wouldn't care about this. We'd be laughing like, all right, yeah, you guys have your celebration. We've got something to cheer about too. It's like like how Michigan and Ohio State, Michigan wins the national championship, and I was irate, I was furious, and then Ohio State went and held up their end of the bargain by winning the very next year, and I'm like, yeah, Michigan, enjoy your tainted national championship, but my team won the very next year. Unfortunately, the Browns haven't done that for us. The Browns are the reason that we're still worrying about things like this, celebrations.
It's not even as much of the Browns' history as the fans' history. And I know you don't appreciate history, and you certainly don't appreciate your own history. So if you're not going to have any respect for yourself and your own memories and things that you saw,
give me the history as a Browns fan.
I don't need to sit there and fight for you.
Give me the history, Ken, that as a Browns fan, I'm supposed to be distraught over. Like, what is the history that I'm supposed to have with the Cleveland Browns?
Nothing at all.
No, tell me. Honestly, what is it? I'll wait. It's a radio show. You can talk too.
No, I got nothing.
Give me the great
I've
history.
been doing the majority of talking all week.
Am I supposed to care about
I don't
Jim
need to say
Brown?
nothing.
Am I supposed to care about Otto Graham? Sorry, I didn't see those
didn't say
guys.
nothing.
I've seen some highlights. That doesn't really do it for me as a Browns fan.
Good.
I didn't get to live that stuff.
Let's make up things about Shedeur Sanders.
That stuff really didn't do anything for me. I wish it did.
Let's talk practice squad like we did last week. It's fine. We're fine. You don't want to fight for yourself or fight for your history. That's okay.
I think it's up to the Browns to fight for me, and the Browns haven't fought for me. So what am I supposed to give them all this fake emotion? For me, it'd be fake.
Right, you fight for yourself.
I got to be honest. It would be fake coming from me.
You fight for yourself. I don't know. I don't understand why we're just going to be sitting here like, well, we're victimized by the Browns. This is about, again, the whole thing is about you as fans.
It's up to the football team to actually go and win games on the field to make this stuff go away.
They ain't going to do it, so I got to speak up for someone, don't I? If they ain't going to do it, then I got to speak up for somebody.
I think your anger is really misdirected, and I think internally...
My anger is not misdirected. You are not my therapist. My anger is not misdirected.
Just in listening to you, I think you're truly mad. And you agreed with me early in the week. You're mad at the Browns. That's who you're mad at. Because I'm
always mad at the Browns. I'm mad at the Browns for plenty of other things, not just this.
Jesus. They make it an unfair fight.
Tells me to talk, wants me to shut up.
Well, Jesus, I can't just talk over you the whole time because you're not letting me get in. Okay? It's a tough listen for the fans, Ken, when you just keep going and keep going and keep going.
Teach me how to do radio. That's fine. That's going to make it good, too. Fine, go ahead. Lead the conversation.
No, go ahead. Take the calls.
Please.
I'm done.
I don't need to take the calls.
I'm done.
Who needs to take the calls? I don't need to take the calls.
Or move on to the next subject.
I can take the calls.
I don't need to move on to the next subject.
Do something else to get us out of this.
Am I the guy who writes down everything?
Here we go. Scott Akron.
Thank you,
Scott. Bail us out of this.
We'll let Owen
Scott
host the
Akron's
show.
talking now.
Okay.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Lima, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Lima's absolutely wrong. Ken's absolutely right. It's egregious behavior by the Ravens organization. They should be ashamed of what they did rather than celebrating it. It has nothing to do with wins and losses. It has to do with how you're running your business, how you're treating your fan base. It's egregious. And for anybody to sit in the YouTube chat and wait for their turn to complain about Shedeur Sanders just shows the moronic state of, I would say, the younger fans. And I would say, Ken, don't let them bully you. You have a responsibility to the fan base to not let the fan base forget what they did. It impacted a lot of people.
Clearly, I don't.
It impacted a lot of people in a negative way. And in a lot of ways, it probably led to the state of the franchises the way it is now in terms of the attitude of the fan base, et cetera, et cetera.
Wait. What led to the fan? Wait, you don't think it's the lose? Hold on. You don't think it's the losing of the team that led to this? You think it's how we react to things that happened 30 years ago? I think you're letting the team off the hook, man.
Dude, I'm very critical. Again, I normally agree with you because I'm very critical of the current team. We're not talking about the current team. We're talking about the garbage organizational decision to do what they did, to rub it in the face, to reopen the wound 30 years later. Are you nuts, Lima? Get real. Don't let them bully you, Tim.
Well, they're celebrating. Hold on. What are they celebrating on Sunday? What are they celebrating? Baltimore.
Their existence.
That's not something you would celebrate if you were a Browns fan, and you got we don't celebrate 99. 99 doesn't come.
I wouldn't celebrate
come up. We've never done anything with 99 and getting the team back.
If it were always the Baltimore Browns,
we didn't talk about how we fought for the colors, fought for the tradition,
and
fought
they
for the
became
stats.
the Cleveland Browns. You should celebrate your history. You should celebrate your existence, not against the team, the city you stole it from. That's the issue. Take more calls. You're the one in charge now. Go ahead.
Oh, I got it. We'll go to Doug in Seven Hills.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Go right on ahead.
Doug, let's go.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, just trying to host a radio show.
Oh, Doug, you're in the middle of it. Let's go.
Ken took his ball and went
Lima's
home.
favorite phrase.
I just want to say two things. F Baltimore. I'll keep it clean. And two, one thing we never discuss is how us as Browns fans took it twice. Not only did our owner backstab us, but who was the man who orchestrated the whole deal?
Well, the next owner, some backstab.
Alfred Lerner. Yeah. He's the one who made the call, who found the people that sold our team.
Yeah.
And then we
keep it clean.
You got to keep it clean, Doug.
I'm sorry. That's just raw emotion.
Doug,
and that's how I want to explain it to you, Ken.
I agree with you.
F Baltimore. I don't care. Worse than Pittsburgh. That's all you got to think about. That's how hard it is. Thanks, guys.
Doug, thank you very much for making the call. See, that's the type of guy I'm talking about here.
But Kenny, I used to be that guy. Used to be that guy. I used to hate Baltimore more than anything in the world. The Browns have sucked that out of me.
But you don't understand. These people, they come and go.
I don't
Guys
understand.
like Sashi Brown, they come and go. I don't think you do.
No, he came and went to Baltimore where he's helping plan the celebration.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Guys
by
like
the way,
Sashi
your guy
Brown,
Andrew Berry looks up to him.
Tells me to talk and then doesn't want me to talk.
That's the guy he looks up to, by the way. Sashi Brown.
Andrew Berry ain't your guy either?
Andrew Berry?
By the way, have I made any hold on. Have I made any defense of Andrew Berry's job? Beg your pardon.
I don't know.
In the last year, have I said that Andrew Berry is doing the right thing and leading us the right way and needs to keep his job? I just said he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Sure. I've met him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. But what I'm pointing out is that this is why I'm upset. And this is why I get angry. And I know I'm being trolled by some, but this is why I get mad.
Yes, you are.
Because, damn it, these people in charge come and go. You all stay. Doug in Seven Hills stays. Clearly, he's emotional over the situation. So he feels like he's had to sit here and deal with this crap where you had a guy help the team move and then buy the team and we had to celebrate him because we had no other choice. And then once he had the team, the guy passes away, and then his boob son runs the team and doesn't even care about the team. And we had to deal with that for 10 years because of some deathbed pact or something like that.
Hold on, I'm on the Waze app. I'm trying to get down to
Why should I let the Browns affect my feelings towards the fans?
Maybe I'm on Google Maps. What's the stadium address again? I got to plug it in to see how long.
It's on
Al
Lerner Way.
100 Alfred Lerner Way. You don't need Baltimore.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
You don't need Baltimore to troll us. We have enough trolling right here in downtown Cleveland.
Do we have time to change the stadium address before we move?
Could they please?
I don't know. We got time to take Rel.
You go,
Cleveland
yeah.
now.
Go to the next call. Get Rel in here.
Hey, good morning, guys. Top of the morning to you. Listen, man, I agree with you, Ken, man. Like, they got all year long to celebrate their so-called 30th year. They could have picked any time, anywhere to do it, but they waited till the lowly Cleveland Browns came to town to do this. This is Bush League. This is low ball, low-level stuff. Like, they could have did this thing a whole other way, a whole other time. It absolutely is a smack in the face to us. Nobody has gone through what we've gone through as fans, and then to have us go through this again, like you said, to rehash and to reopen old wounds. They could have did this. They could have did this celebration at any time, but they waited for us to come to town. That's low class.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you very much for the call, Rel. Thank you very much for the call.
Of course that's what they're doing. It's obviously what they're doing.
I just can't believe how you can sit here and laugh about it.
I'd like to talk about the football game, but nobody clearly thinks we've got a shot, obviously.
No, that's why
because we're sitting here in Cleveland
that's the reason why they're mad.
Talking about a celebration. It's exactly what the Ravens wanted you to do.
The show is yours.
This is exactly what they wanted, Ken.
So much
they wanted to get you worked up. They did. They wanted to get the fans worked up. And then they know what's going to happen on Sunday. They're going to rub it in more, and they're going to laugh as you guys are all here talking about a celebration. That's exactly what they wanted. This is exactly what the NFL wanted. This is why they were complicit in doing the whole thing.
You still don't understand.
It makes us sound like losers.
When we
That's
talk
exactly
about this,
what it does.
But it's not us who have been losers. It's not the fans who have been losers.
Kind of seems like it
I'm sorry, are they not Cavs fans out there too?
I'm not
going to lose my voice. I'm not going to lose my voice. They are also Cavs fans. The Cavs have been a good basketball team for a very long period of time. They're also Guardians fans. The Guardians have been a good organization for a long period of time. So stop calling the fans losers.
They are going to play in Baltimore the Tears of Cleveland radio this morning, and we're going to sound like losers. We will.
It's not
They're
just about the
laughing
Browns.
at you.
It's about the
Chris
region.
Canty's laughing.
It's about the region.
Who was the first guy we played? They're all laughing at us.
Fine.
Because this is what we're talking about on a Friday before week 2 of the year.
What are they talking about?
This is what they're doing.
What are they talking about?
This is exactly what they wanted.
Are they breaking down the game? Are they breaking
I'm glad
down the
we're
game?
on film. They're going to send us right to Baltimore.
Are they breaking down the game?
They're going to say, look at what they're doing in Cleveland.
I want to know what
No, they're going to play this. They're going to have fun with this instead.
Of course they are. Because they're going to get what they want.
So this is what I need. So thanks to the Browns. This is what the Browns have created. Because if the Browns won, we wouldn't be doing this right now. We'd be laughing about it.
I'm glad you got what you wanted. You wanted me to get mad. You wanted me to get loud. You wanted me to get hoarse and lose my voice. So you got what you wanted. I hope you're thrilled. Damn it.
Wish the team would fight half as much as you are. I wish they would.
I can't. I'm not. But you've mixed this up. I'm not making this argument over Blake Whiteheart or any of them guys. I got a guy crying on the phone with us 5 minutes ago. That doesn't move you?
No, I'm saying
you have lost your soul.
No, you missed the point.
And this show is going
as
downhill.
usual. Missed the point completely. He wouldn't be crying if the Browns won 2 Super Bowls over the last 15 years. It's the inability of the Browns, which is why the Friday before the
Everybody
game,
knows.
we're talking about a 5-minute video. We're all sitting there crying about a 5-minute video because our team can't back it up. And we're sitting there wondering if we can have a toe-to-toe and if we can go out and actually trash talk the other team before a big football game. We're wondering because we never win. That's our team's fault. That's our team's fault, Ken. That's the Browns' fault. You let them off the hook every time you do this.
How do I leave the Browns off the hook? When have I ever left the Browns off the hook?
Every day.
How?
Seems like every day.
How? What have I said that's been
Maybe they'll win 6 games. Maybe they'll win 8 games. Maybe 10. By the end of the day, it'll be 12.
What a high bar we set around here.
There we go. You let them off the hook every day.
Okay, then let's just have them lose because that's going to fix them because they haven't been losing for 25 years.
Unbelievable.
And you and all these other idiots that also draw a paycheck from doing this for a living want them to lose.
Here's the name calling.
You didn't tell me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We going about last night next?
Oh,
or what
no,
are we doing?
we're doing whose fault is it, old Browns or new Browns? And the calls. Next on the Fan, go ahead, Anthony.
It's Anthony Lima for Floors with a Z. And at Floors with a Z right now, you've got an incredible opportunity to equip your house with the type of flooring that you need. I've had it done multiple levels of my home, and it has been awesome. Talk about pet-proof, child-proof, spill-proof. It's all there for you thanks to Floors with a Z and what Brian Erickson has been able to create right here in Northeast Ohio. They have been awesome in dealing with them and being able to make sure even after the project is done that they support it 100%. And that's the difference with Floors with a Z. Not to mention their convenient locations. We're talking Strongsville, Copley, Mayfield Heights, and their
Cleaners, expert area rug cleaning and repair, carpet cleaning for your wall-to-wall carpet. Schedule your work today. arslanianbros.com.
When there's news that affects the Cleveland sports fan, Darrow Ryder is on top of every headline. Listen to his reports on the station with the most local sports talk in town. 92.3 The Fan, powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. In your weeknight with the best segments of the day. The Fan Rewind, weeknights at 11.
I'd like to talk about the football game, but nobody clearly thinks we've got a shot, obviously.
No, that's why
because we're sitting here in Cleveland
that's the reason why they're mad.
Talking about a celebration. It's exactly what the Ravens wanted you to do.
It's not just about the Browns.
They're laughing at you.
It's about the region.
Chris Canty's laughing.
It's about the region.
Who's the first guy we played? They're all laughing at us.
Fine.
Because this is what we're talking about on a Friday before week 2 of the year.
What are they talking about?
This is what they're doing.
What are they talking about?
This is exactly what they wanted.
Are they bringing out the game?
This is what the Browns have created. Because if the Browns won, we wouldn't be doing this right now.
I'm glad you got what
We'd
you
be
wanted.
laughing
I'm
about
glad you got what you wanted. You wanted me to get mad. You wanted me to get loud. You wanted me to get hoarse and lose my voice. So you got what you wanted.
Wish the team would fight half as much as you are.
Morning.
Kenny.
Brad says you're turning full troll. No, it is real. You can see us on YouTube Live now. It is absolutely real.
Ken got so red.
He believes what he believes.
Ken got so red. I'm worried about his voice, though.
One half of the Dairy Brothers podcast is texting me like, I know it's not shtick. It's not shtick. You disagree with Lima. Lima really believes it. What are they saying about me on the YouTube there? I can't even look at the YouTube thing.
Charles said, blame the Browns for once, Ken Haslam. He adds, get Ken a binky and a bottle.
That's brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry
Wait a minute. Is that Charles W.?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that the same guy who was bitching our ear off last week? We weren't being positive enough?
I believe so.
Okay. So it took one game, 1-point loss against the Cincinnati Bengals, and now I'm supposed to, okay.
Which I thought they played well
So
I
thought
they were the better team.
So Charles just wanted me to lie to him, right? That it? You just want me to lie. Okay. Because you say whatever you want to about me. This is the true emotions of it. You can see it now.
Don't you wish, Ken, just in hearing that back, because I thought to myself, man, if you were Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski driving into the facility, like, hey, let's check in on the boys. Let's see how they're doing this morning. Let's see how they're breaking down the matchup. And they heard that. Don't you wish they'd get a little fired up like that? Don't you want? And the players are trying.
No, they'll talk about directional correctness and all the other crap that they ever talk about. Thought companions and all that other. See, now I'm getting really mad at them.
Now, to be fair.
Now I'm getting really mad at them.
Maybe that's where you need to point your madness at.
Of course I'm mad at them. Why would I not be mad at them? See, that's the thing. That's why I was getting so frustrated with them. Why am I not? Who said I'm not mad at them? Why would I not be mad? Why would I not be mad? Why would I not be? Guys, talking about Deshaun Watson playing for this team is taken as a threat to the fans. I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad that the most expensive player we've ever had in franchise history, the thought of him playing is taken as a threat by your fan base. I don't need to get mad and red-faced. Oh, excuse me. I don't need to get red-faced over that. Just let it crystallize.
He did have a nice come-from-behind win out there in Baltimore.
There are people
He's a big second-half Baltimore guy.
There are people listening to this right now who they shudder at the thought of your most expensive quarterback playing for you. That alone should show you how I feel.
They did take all the signage down of his at the stadium.
Because they have to. Because it makes the fan base upset. Because you at least could be, that's why, like, I'm not even trying to defend what they're saying, what Grant Delpit's saying, but at least Grant Delpit is I find him likable. Well, I could say somewhat likable. The other guy, you have the most expensive player you've ever had. He don't want to be here. You don't want him here. The fans shudder at the thought of him ever playing for this franchise ever again. We're in a great place right now.
Of course.
And we're in a wonderful, wonderful place right now.
Of course, go to figure now they got 4 guys ahead of him on a depth chart, maybe even like 5. And now all of a sudden he's running wind sprints all around town.
Put up more videos of yourself. It ain't going to change anybody's feelings. I mean, you may reach a point in the season where people just go, whatever, fine. And then you can put them out there because there ain't no one out there to watch him. But I hope that doesn't happen. It's only week 2 for crying out loud. You better see you-know-who before him. Tell you that right now.
I would hope so.
I've got three. Who's
You're talking about
before him.
Wait, you're talking about Bailey Zappi.
No, I'm
right?
not talking about Bailey Zappi. You better knock that.
Guy got a win over the Browns.
He played lights out that game.
I saw him on Wednesday. What a nice kid. I'm dead serious.
Did you see him on scout team?
I could be dead ass. No, I wasn't out there.
Where was he?
I'm not allowed out there. He was walking by. He said hi. What a nice kid.
Did he look like he had been sweating from maybe running a practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He looked sweaty. Of course, a lot of them look sweaty. I mean, it was, workouts and things like that
Sweaty
at that time.
of day.
Last segment, Kenny looked sweaty.
I could work up a real moistness. What a word. I don't know where to go. That's the thing. I'm so mad.
Oh, that's fine. I know where to go. We'll go to Drake in Cleveland.
All right.
Drake, you're up. Let's go.
Can I do the Ross Bjork thing at 8?
Yeah.
Not that anybody gives a bleep, but
Yeah,
fine.
who cares?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm sure Drake isn't going to try to troll me. Here we go with Drake. Go ahead, Drake.
Lima, I appreciate you this morning for getting Ken back where he needs to be. Sometimes he get a little too excited. We have to hold the Browns accountable. We do not have a problem with Baltimore celebrating their success. We be celebrating ours. The Browns have to go in there and take care of business and smack them in the face and turn that celebration upside down. That's all it is.
Is it not? I need to be
that
clear.
would be nice.
Let me be clear about this. What does it say when I don't have faith that they're going to back up my feelings about this celebration on Sunday? What's it say about them as a team? What have I not made abundantly clear about how I feel? Please tell me.
Everything about your team, Ken, that you are mad at Baltimore. Cleveland is your team. Baltimore have no association with you. They've been successful. They won a Super Bowl. We would be celebrating probably
Doesn't mean I need to celebrate them.
We won a Super Bowl.
I don't care about them. I care about me. You're the one sitting there saying, "Well, we don't have Super Bowls. We don't have Super Bowls. We have contracts that people are literally counting down the days until we can start to get out from." I got invited to a party for June 1st next year. Why did I get invited to a party on Facebook on June 1st next year?
It should be post June 1st.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that your players have confidence against the Ravens. I don't understand why they're getting shamed.
I'm not shaming them for that.
No, not you, but the media in the whole is shaming the Browns because they're saying they're giving the Ravens bulletin board material. Well, guess what? If you need bulletin board material in the NFL, then something's wrong with you. You're already at the top of the apex.
There's no faith, and they really don't deserve it, Drake. There's no faith.
Let's go Browns. I don't care about what Baltimore does.
Well,
Let's go in there and smack them in the mouth.
Drake,
it's that simple.
Thank you very much for the call. But that is why I want to be so crystal clear. I don't have to be red-faced and mad at them to show you how mad I am. I'm getting defensive of the fans. The reason why people want the Browns players to shut up is because they don't have faith in them. What's that tell you about the fan base's thoughts of the organization? What's that tell you about the fan base's thoughts to the team? What's that tell you? It's not a good thing. I don't need to be red-faced. I don't need to be called Ken Haslam to tell you that, yeah, that's a massive disappointment, and we're only really starting to play for 2026, it seems, for a lot of folks out there. So, yeah, I would love for them to go out there and beat them. But if I'm only saying, well, I hope that they play close. I mean, what is that? This is professional football. I hope they play close. Lord. Can I tell you why Ross Bjork is a genius?
100%. Yep.
You think anybody cares?
I think you got a good point here.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do they want to hear about why I think Ross Bjork is a genius, or do they just want you to pull my strings again?
Let's see what we can do.
And Carmen
We could
Anthony
probably
Lyman.
do both here.
Daryl Ryder joins us at 8:21 on the Fan.
All right, Ken Haslam, Anthony Dolan here for Extend Technologies, XTENDAV.com. Extend Technologies, where it's going to be a wild weekend of sports. Where would you rather watch it than, well, in your home if you don't want to be all out and about, but do you want a great setup? Then if you do, you got to go through Extend Technologies.
Yeah.
When you see what they can do, for me, 85-inch Sony Bravia TV in one room, frame TV on the other. Ken, it is compound. It is
It's not
all
a compound.
set up.
It's not a compound.
It is
I wouldn't even call
loaded.
it an estate.
Well, it is terrific.
It's a home in a regular neighborhood is what it is.
And you've had Tony Fabric and the group from Extend
Yes.
Technologies in, and it makes the world of a difference.
They've made it a great time, and you.
in what Kevin wanted to do and what Deshaun felt most comfortable in, plus the nonsense, plus him missing games and injuries.
The identity being the defense?
Well, no, you're back to being a ball control offense that leads with the run, and I still think there's a mile to go to play your best football. Pick the next 5 games. Pick a rabbit out of a hat trying to find a win. That's not where my mind's on Baltimore, and you can beat Baltimore.
You can beat Baltimore. It's not the expectation going in, but you can beat Baltimore. You talk about like identity. I want this identity for this team to just be one of the best defensive teams in the entire NFL.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I got to go away from the Browns for a minute. Daryl Ryder's going to join us at 8:21. Are the Ravens taking the game seriously? Daryl's going to answer that question. Lima, you had said you had a problem with somebody asking that question earlier before the show, so we'll ask that with Daryl coming up at 8:21 this morning. I got to tell you, I think Ross Bjork's kind of a genius. Because you have they call it the Marching 110. I didn't get Yeah. It's called the Marching 110.
Yep.
Why do you say that?
What do you mean?
You know about the Marching 110?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Since I've lived in Ohio. I didn't know about them before.
I've lived in Ohio all my life.
They are the band with the chip on their shoulder. Yeah. They feel like they get overlooked. Everybody talks about Ohio State's band, and Marching 110 has in my time of paying attention to bands, marching bands at football games, this has bothered them forever.
Really?
They want their respect.
Oh, because of the best damn band in the land thing, and they're the Marching 110?
They don't ever refer to them as that.
Well, I tell you what, you keep taking down schools like that with your football program, you might get a higher profile because you might end up at a different conference. I know they were already looking around. I know where our offices are, the MAC, but damn, how are you going to keep her down on the farm once she's seen Carl Hungus? It's the same thing with the team in the MAC. I'm sorry. I didn't think that was going to get you. I thought we were just going to move on with that. Ross Bjork's a genius for this. You got the one team in Texas. They're obviously going to fill up the stadium for that. You've had college football in general. Ohio State, yeah, you got a strong fan base. You have a lot of people that want to watch. You have a lot of people that want to watch on TV, though, because your prices for tickets, even with some of the MAC schools that you play and some of the other schools, they're just way too high. And I think people, like, when it's weird because I hear this here. Now, maybe this is a different thought here. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong audience. If there's guys in Columbus listening on the Odyssey app or watching on YouTube, please, 216-474-0092. But I think I'm right. Like, if there's a Browns game, there are people in North Royalton, they're like, oh, let's check the secondary market on Sunday morning. $28 tickets, $537. Okay, I'll go in $28 tickets with fees. Everything's fine. But when I look up Ohio State games, we're talking $300. I'm not going to go an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on where I live and what side of the city. I'm not going to go an hour and a half to pay $300 to go see them take on Grambling or OU. Now, maybe by the time Saturday morning rolls around, do the tickets fall considerably?
They used to release some late too over at
but is it the same
basketball
is
arena.
It the same premise as as NFL, where hey, it's Saturday morning, people are trying to unload their seats. Now all of a sudden you can get a $300 ticket for $100.
Yeah, I will say it's a little different. Ohio State, just there's so many alumni. There's so many people all over the state of Ohio in the region that people can only go to a few games. Like if you want to go to every Browns game, you can go to every Browns game. But to go to every Buckeye game, unless you're a booster and a big time season ticket holder, you're only getting like 2 games.
I think it's difficult.
Alumni get like 1 or 2 games, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so you're going to go no matter what. You're going to go because every year you bring your family or you bring your wife or whatever. That's all you get. So you're going to go. You're not selling those tickets.
So you're playing teams that really are not going to pack your house anyway. Now, you have not had the same type of attendance woes as they've had in some of the ACC schools here recently. Some of even the SEC schools, they try not to show them on TV, especially because ESPN's a partner with them, so they kind of keep their shot in tight. But, boy, there are a couple of Florida games where every now and then they'd show a wide angle by accident. You go, whoa.
That's not the swamp I remember.
There's some open seats there, plenty available over there in that corner. You have not had those problems, but you have had some empty seats here and there here over the last few years. People are taking in the game differently. And I think it's probably a better idea where you go, hey, you can't schedule, and maybe someday they will. Maybe the rules will be different. But you're not going to schedule Texas every single week or a team like Texas every single week in the non-con. And your conference is what your conference is. So, yeah, if Northwestern's coming to town, I don't know how many people are going to be wearing purple coming in, and I really don't know how many Ohio State fans are going to be coming in dying to see you beat Northwestern in the first half of the game. It's never usually the story when you go to Northwestern, but that's neither here nor there.
They like the Chicago.
But it's. Even I said the first half of the game. They always kind of trudge it out against Northwestern in the first half. Remember that game a few years ago?
They've had a lot.
Ryan, not the last one, but the one at Ryan Field. It's like, let's just get out of here with a win. This is kind of ugly and it's rainy and nasty. But you have OU is known for their band. I didn't know much about their band. I've always known about their band.
They're awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know much about their band. I heard more about it this morning. Okay, yeah, that is a band that they really, really are proud of. You said they marched right through and come see the band later on today at the football game. Yeah. It was to go see the band.
And they're known for their dance breaks.
Okay.
They will get out of their very formal dancing, their very formal marching formations, and then they'll just start dancing.
So it's a way to bring people to the arena, bring people to the stadium, and at least keep them in the stadium until halftime, so they can buy more things from you and spend more money. I didn't know much about OU's band. I obviously knew about Grambling's band. So I think it is, if you're going to do non-con scheduling where, yeah, you got paycheck games. Now OU's a tough football team. They ain't going to beat Ohio State tomorrow, but they're a tough football team and they're a proud program. And they've done pretty well considering they went from Frank Solich to Tim Albin and now to a new coach very, very quickly. They've done very well with that. I still obviously think that Ohio State's probably, they're a 30.5-point favorite. I still think Ohio State's probably going to roll them even without trying. Maybe it's 30, maybe it's 28, somewhere in there. But it's still probably going to be a non-competitive game by the third quarter. So you might as well have someone worth seeing. And there is a long history there. Apparently, I forgot that the Bobcat did try to fight Brutus Buckeye.
Yeah, what is it, Rufus? Is that
that's
Rufus
the name.
Is the Bobcat's
Rufus.
Name,
yeah. The guy apparently went rogue and tried to fight.
He took a cheap shot.
There's been a couple great little documentaries about it.
About the mascot trying to fight?
Thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the...
I think 10 TV did
What was the background story of that?
I can't. I don't want to...
You want to spoil it?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it just seemed like some idiot got a wild hair on his ass and decided to go fight Brutus.
Wild hair on his Bobcat ass.
So they announced that they would be performing together at the halftime show. These two rival bands. These bands normally get into it. What I want to know is
Jimmy Carter, man,
is
putting
this
the piece together?
Is this an ambush? Is something going on? What I want to know is, listen, Ohio University, they don't play fair. They're banned. Anybody in the band community can back me up. They do not play fair.
Reckless speculation.
They will break rank, and we talked about going rogue. We've seen it with the mascots. Is something going on here? Is there going to be something that goes down at halftime? I'd be a little worried, by the way. I'd be a little worried.
Talking about some sousaphone on sousaphone.
They just better be careful because things could escalate. And
could
then,
they try to pull a prank on Ohio State is what you're saying?
Or is this Ohio State's turn to get them back? I don't know.
So what, does Brutus all of a sudden leg drop Rufus or something like that or give him sweet chin music?
I just know these bands have never liked each other, and now all of a sudden you're telling me at halftime it's going to be kumbaya between these two bands, these rival factions?
That was a long time ago.
I don't know.
What was it, 15, 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken? That was a long time ago.
I remember. Yeah. I was at a game. Ray Small, remember that name? He took one to the house to help they were struggling. Ohio State was struggling against Ohio University.
216-474-0092. Nick and Maslin. Nick, hello.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey. Hi, Nick.
Hey, just to let you know, my son played at OU several years back, and I was never a
Congratulations on all your success.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. He was on their scholarship there. Anyway, I was never a big band guy. It was like, okay, whatever. The first time I watched them, it was like I couldn't get out of my seat, and I couldn't every game after that. I waited for halftime because they are exceptional. The dance they do, the way they play their music, the way they're into it, and it's not that monster-sized band. It's just that elite group. I tell you, they're fun to watch. Lima's absolutely right. They are phenomenal.
My view on marching bands has changed considerably here over the last 20 years, Nick. Thank you very much for the call.
Did you used to make fun of them in high school?
Yeah. And I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
I've matured.
I feel bad. I think I did too.
Basically, I felt bad about that. It felt like the second I graduated high school, I go, what were you doing?
Yeah, they
There's
put in
nice people
so
in that
much
band.
work.
Yeah.
And they entertain.
Act like an idiot for. Why
And
would you do
sometimes
that?
the football team doesn't entertain.
I don't know what it's like in the town. You live pretty close to the high school, right, Ken?
Yeah.
And Lima, you're a little further away. I'm a mile away from my high school. I hear them
You
playing.
can hear them.
I like listening to them to warm up. Yeah.
All summer long.
Oh, yeah.
They're out there playing.
What was really
yeah.
cool at Ohio State, when on Fridays, I bad scheduling snafu, and I had to go, and you'd hear them practicing outside, and they're doing Script Ohio, like you would get the goosebumps just sitting there in class or recitation or whatever, and the marching band would be going nuts. By the way, you know how many NFL teams have marching bands?
Two?
There are two. I know you know which two they are.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Well, the Ravens have one.
Yeah. I was going to say.
The Bengals have one?
Right up the road from the Ravens. The Commanders.
Oh, the Commanders have
Yeah.
a band?
Yeah.
Oh, that feels like that was ripped off. Because the Colts was the original band. All that stuff. Okay.
We've always tried to fight to get cheerleaders at the Browns
You
games.
get cheerleaders now.
What about marching band? Well, the Vikings have cheerleaders,
We had a
Ken.
drum line once.
Ken,
I've seen a
Vikings
video
have them.
on that, yeah.
I've seen a lot of videos of Vikings
Coming in
cheerleaders.
hot is at 9:45 this morning. 216-474-0092. Daryl Ryder going to join us here in moments. Are the Ravens taking the game seriously? Could we see Quinshon Judkins on Sunday afternoon? Ken Carmen, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app, and then watch us for free on YouTube Live.
Anthony Lima for the young team. Right.
Because I said I'm done. I'm done talking about it.
Well, listen, the celebration, we both agreed. They were 100% rubbing it in. We weren't buying that this was just a coincidence. And I think the NFL's complicit as well, Daryl. But in the end, how do you feel about all of this and knowing that our quarterback is probably going to be part of that celebration in some capacity?
Yeah, and that's something that I asked Joe Flacco about earlier this week, the unique situation of he's the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and he's going into Baltimore and into a situation where he's actually part of what they are going to be celebrating as he helped deliver a Super Bowl championship, their second, since Baltimore stole that team. Now, the organization claims that this was all coincidence, this was all set prior to the schedule actually coming out. And so going by that logic, Anthony, then I blame the NFL. The NFL's the one trolling Browns fan and Cleveland by setting this up if the Ravens had already decided that they were going to do this celebration for their home opener. But the one thing is clear, at least outwardly, the Browns don't care. When asked about it, they are downplaying this. Kevin Stefanski, I asked him the other day, is like, our players know the history of the team. Next question. Joel Bitonio gave a pretty good answer the other day when asked about it, but I thought Jim Schwartz kind of summed up my anticipated feelings of the organization pretty well, and that's where it's just like, look, I'm not even going to sit there and talk about this. We're focused on trying to win a football game and not the ghosts of 30 years ago. So all of our energy this week is invested in trying to beat the Ravens and not worried about who's going to be in attendance.
Quinshon Judkins, Daryl, do you think that he will play on Sunday?
I do. Now, as far as how much he's going to play,
that was my next question.
Yeah, that I don't know, Ken. But
how well is he going to play? That was my next question.
Well, first things first.
At a time.
First things first, he's got to play. And the fact that he was a full participant in practice, he looked good going through the individual drills and whatnot. It's really hard to gauge anything, though, in that 15-minute period where they're just stretching and whatnot and going through the running back drills with the coaching staff there. But I am making an educated guess that you'll see Quinshon on Sunday, most likely in a limited capacity. I can't imagine that they're going to be ready to give him a full workload right out of the gate.
All right, Daryl, obviously we're big-time underdogs in this game, but that has not stopped...
Whoop-de-doo!
I was going to say, that leads me right to it. That has not stopped the Browns from, jawing a little bit back and forth, maybe trying to get the Ravens to take the bait. Overall, do you have a problem with the Browns displaying some confidence?
No, I don't. I will, though, if they go to Baltimore and get blown out by 20, then I'll have a problem with it. But right now, no. Have some fun with it. Grant Delpit, the expression from him yesterday was fantastic. Jerry Jeudy on Wednesday when asked about it. Look, I mean, there's no question. I think it's 11.5 points right now is what that spread is. It caught my attention, though. Jeudy was asked about the Ravens secondary and the challenges that they could present defensively, and he's like, yeah, no challenge. And then yesterday, Delpit, when asked about the difficulties of tackling Derrick Henry, he's like, yeah, he's not hard to tackle. And then Henry, I guess I did see the video coming out of Baltimore. Henry then fires back. He's like, well, I guess we're going to find out on Sunday, aren't we? So I think adds a little spice to this, a little on-the-field spice. Forget the celebration stuff. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. But my thing is, I don't have an issue with them being confident and talking a little trash, but it is important that they go to Baltimore and back it up.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this as well, because, obviously it's an interview. I got to ask you a lot of questions.
That's kind of how this works, Ken.
There is such a thing to us as, I guess I got to say, moral victories. There's no moral victories with the front office or the coaching staff, but I think with some of the young guys, maybe there are moral victories, because you can't tell the story of the game against the Bengals without saying that the young guys for the Browns played well.
Right.
And this is a team in Baltimore that has Super Bowl aspirations. In fact, I mean, how many teams you play are supposed to have Super Bowl aspirations? It's going to be a toughie.
Yeah, Packers are here next week.
Uh-huh. So you play well against them, even if you lose. Do you start to kind of zone in and go, man, maybe we really are only a quarterback away? Maybe we really are only the most important position away. Or do you go, well, depending on how Joe Flacco is, maybe things are a little bit worse than what we thought, even if they are close. How do you see all that balancing out?
For me, I feel that they are a quarterback away. I felt last year they were a quarterback away, and I know that sounds just completely ridiculous to say considering they're coming off of a 3-win season, but that's the magic pill for this franchise, to get them over the top and to be able to compete week in and week out. And until they have that guy, we're just going to be having these type of discussions and looking for moral victories. And, hey, can they hang tough against a team that might be a Super Bowl favorite or whatnot? Look, if they can go to Baltimore and the defense plays the same way that they did against the Bengals, they're able to contain Lamar Jackson. The Ravens had 8 or 9 explosive plays for 20 or more yards last week in their loss at Buffalo. The Browns are certainly going to have to contain that. Conversely, the Browns only had 3 plays go for 20 or more yards offensively. And so getting some explosiveness out of this offense, I think, is going to be critical for them if they're going to hang with the Ravens and compete with them. Because I feel like a team like Baltimore, you almost have to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And if you get into a situation where Lamar Jackson's hot, Derrick Henry's hot, and that offense is rolling, and your offense is doing much, then it's just going to be a long afternoon at the office. So, but it always comes down to quarterback play. And I am very interested to see. Joe Flacco said earlier this week, hey, you're not even going to, even if I am emotional going to Baltimore, you're not going to know it. Because one of the things I've always been criticized about in my career is, well, I don't show emotion all that much. So I'm interested to see how Joe Flacco handles this weekend in Baltimore, going back there for the first time since they traded him.
Darryl Ryder joining us right now. They have had, over the years, some success, as much as you really can have, against Derrick Henry. That wasn't until last year. Derrick Henry averaged almost 7 yards a carry against them last year.
Yeah.
The Grant Delpit hit notwithstanding. So what do you think the Browns have for him this week? It's a very different challenge than they had a week ago against Cincinnati.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to what Delpit said yesterday when he's like, yeah, it's not a challenge tackling him. Henry's averaging, around 60 yards per game in his career against the Browns. And you're right, they've done a pretty good job. Same thing with Lamar Jackson, historically, and under Jim Schwartz here. They've done a fairly good job of, as well as you can do, containing the damage that Lamar Jackson can inflict on a defense. They do a fairly good job in that regard, or have, I should say, and hopefully that continues this Sunday, because I do believe that if they are able to contain both of those players, their odds of shocking the world and leaving Baltimore a 500 football team increase exponentially. I think Carson Schlesinger is going to be very, very important in that. I also feel like Mason Graham is going to be very, very important. Now, we already know what Myles Garrett can do, but you mentioned the rookies playing well in week 1. They're going to need these rookies to play well Sunday to help them come out of there with a win.
I have a question about the Guardians coming up here soon. Can you believe that? For Myles Garrett, for this defense here, what do you think, what's more important here for this football team in terms of his leadership to try to get this thing going in the right direction? Because, I got a lot of people during the game on Sunday. The reason I asked this, and I didn't even get a chance to ask you this on Monday, is that I got a lot of people going, see, that's how he leads. He leads by his play on the field. And I go, I don't think that's, well, I think that leads them off the field to get off on 4th down.
Yeah.
It's not the type of leadership that I expect, or that I really even think I need anymore out of Myles Garrett.
Well, I think when you're talking about leadership, it's holding everybody within the locker room to a certain standard, right? Making sure that there's accountability within
and I think,
the football team, right? That's what you're getting at, right,
And I
Ken?
think to a certain degree, he's been like kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that. I think at times he's been frustrated with the way things go. And I think that's kind of carried in because I believe it's hard. I believe that you can be frustrated in a season and it can be very hard to kind of go and lock in and try to get everybody going. So I understand it's not an easy thing to do, and I understand that not everybody's cut out for it. But I'm like, well, I've never accused him of not being a great player on the field, but that's still, it's not what I expect from him. But I do think that the emotional part to it has been lacking with this organization for quite a long time, and I don't know where they look in that direction other than with maybe some of the rookies or guys who are still even in college.
Right, and I agree with you. We tend to, when you're talking about the best or the greatest players on a team, Ken, we're always looking for them to be the leaders. But there are oftentimes, and I've said this about Miles, that I've never questioned him as a player, but I have questioned whether or not that's the leadership element is built into his own personality. And I've never been a fan of asking guys to try and be something that they just naturally are not, whether either comfortable doing or it's not in their DNA to be a leader. And when you sign a $40 million a year contract like he did this offseason, certainly after wanting out of Cleveland, right, and then doing a 180 to stay here, it's one of the things that I talked about on my Sunday show in the offseason, that he needs to step up the leadership. They're not only buying your loyalty, they're not only paying you for the sacks and the pressures and the tackles for losses and things like that. They're also paying you to set the tone for the franchise. And we've heard Kevin Stefanski talk about it. We've heard Jim Schwartz talk about it. Look, and it's hard to see how that leadership translates on game day, right? Where you're like, oh, yep, there's Myles Garrett leading the way, or leading the charts outside of him, making plays. But I think that when you're talking to it's behind the scenes. It's making sure that everybody's showing up to meetings on time and making sure they're in their playbook and doing their film study and coming to practice prepared and practicing hard day in and day out, right? That's, I think, the leadership that I believe that you're asking about and getting to. And sometimes that's really hard to quantify or to actually be able to see the tangible results of on game days.
You'll probably be surprised to hear this, how this question is going to be asked. Is it, quote, worth it for the Guardians to make the postseason?
Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
The reason I asked you is because I've heard from Lima wanted to start doing conspiracy theories and say I was doing straw man. I've heard over the last week 3 people on either radio, TV, print, podcast, whatever it may be, say either to me or next to me, around me, ask the question, is it even worth it for them to make the postseason? Is this even worth it? And I said, even if you were cynical, it's worth it, because then you can go, a team that you have not really invested in 2 straight years has made the postseason. When are you going to invest in them? And obviously there's a rah-rah to it where everybody wants to see their favorite team make the postseason. I just wanted to hear a contrary argument. Also, I wanted to make sure that people knew it was not you who was one of the people who said that around me.
Wow.
There were plenty of people wondering, and I go, I'm going to give Daryl his shot.
No, anytime you can make the playoffs, you got to go for it. You got to try to make the playoffs. I will say this, though, about the current situation that the Guardians are in. This is vintage Cleveland Guardians, right? They are not good enough to compete legitimately for a World Series, but they're good enough to make the post, or be competitive, I should say, in a pennant race in September and potentially get to the playoffs. And it would certainly be a feather in their cap if they could get there. I'm not convinced that they're going to be able to do any damage in the playoffs. But I would never sit here and say that you should not want your team to make the playoffs, or that it's not worth it for your team to make the playoffs, because you play the games for a reason. And just because I don't believe that they're World Series contenders at this point, look, anything can happen. I remember the 97 Indians won like 86 or 88 games that year. They were a very disappointing team in the regular season. October came along, and it was one of the most magical October rides you could have, from coming back to beating the Yankees in the division series, beating the Orioles in the ALCS, and stretching that thing all the way to a Game 7 against the Marlins there. So you get in the tournament, anything can happen. And so it's always worth it to at least get in the tournament.
Daryl, thank you very much for the time. All the very best, and we'll talk to you on Monday, hopefully after a big win, and we get to, rub their noses in it. Their beaks in it, if you want to use bad puns or whatever. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that. Look forward to it, guys. Enjoy the football this weekend.
All right, Daryl Ryder, keeping it sexy. He's brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Nathan coming up at 9:01.
How many feet did they say the Kafis home run was? Was it 420? Was it 425?
425.
Holy cow, that was absolutely mashed. It was awesome to see.
That, I want to, because, the quarterback away thing is a question. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get to that. I got Nathan at 9:01 and non-homer reasons why, yes, obviously, it's absolutely necessary and worth it to make the postseason, even if you want to get nasty with the Guardians. I'll explain coming up in 5 on The Fan.
Anthony Limo, 4.
Wisconsin.edu/accounting.
92.3 The Fan has the most local sports talk in town, and you can be a part of it anytime you want. Weigh in on X at 92.3 The Fan and see if our hosts make your reaction a part of our shows. Powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Zagura 901. So real quick, why would I ever bring in a straw man? I've never brought a straw man in.
No, I just know that in today's day and age, when you don't name names, people assume like you're just making stuff up.
I don't want to name names. I think they'd be upset because they said it off the record. If they would have said it on the record, I would have got audio and I would have played it. But they said it off the record. It's in its media brethren.
Mm-hmm. And you think if they went public with such a sentiment that the Guardians making the playoffs is no big deal, who cares?
I mean, I already got two guys.
Whoop.
I already got one guy in the media. He will talk again.
Whoop-de-doo.
No big whoop-de-doo.
But there's already one guy in the media here who won't talk to me. I don't want to alienate anybody else. Do I want to hurt anybody else's
your
feelings?
Sith Lord hood that you've got
Senator
going on right
Palpatine.
now.
I'm not feeling good, I told you. You put your hood up when you ain't feeling that good.
Oh, okay. That's the international symbol, huh?
What, this isn't serious to you?
Can't even look at him.
Stop. Nathan joins us at 9:01. Where they had said, they'd asked, is it even worth it? I'm like, well, yeah, of course. Even if you want to be nasty about Paul Dolan, I think it's worth it. Because you haven't put together the greatest product on the field. I think they overachieved last year. I think that's easy to say for a lot of people. Now, they've had a couple of guys who have been banged up. Like if they had Lane Thomas, maybe things would be a little different. If they still had Emmanuel Clase, things would be a little different. Now, that's self-inflicted there. Maybe things might be a little bit better. But they overachieved last season. And you could say, man, the team, if you're not actually trying, if you've drawn a conclusion that they overachieved last year, then you could say, if you're not even really trying because of television revenue, and that's up in the air, if you're not even really trying because of a possible work stoppage, that's up in the air. If you're not even trying, quote unquote, for those reasons, and you still have a team that's over 500 in the wild card mix and then actually makes the postseason, we're 3.5 games out. How many games do we have left? 17?
16, I believe.
16.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my original number a couple of weeks ago.
And now we're here.
17. Got that one.
We were just ahead.
Way off. So if you have 16 games left, it's going to be tough. But if you were to make the postseason, then you go, man, 2 out of the last 3 years you make the postseason. The last 2 years you make the postseason. Even if you get bounced in the wild card round. Why won't you do more to help this team? Clearly this team needs help. Clearly this team is worth helping. Why won't you do more? It gives you more of an argument to hold the owner's feet to the fire. It gives you more of an argument to say, why aren't you doing what's necessary to get this team over a hump while you have Jose Ramirez playing for it? So even if you wanted to be negative, and I'm not trying to be a homer here and rah-rah. Everybody wants to see their team go to the postseason. That's not hard to do. It's easy to sit here and rip the media brethren and say, this is the problem with the media in this town. This is the problem with the media in general. I'm not even asking that. I'm saying if you are a person who immediately doesn't think very highly of the Guardians and their ownership, them making the postseason gives you all the ammo in the world. Now, if they go and they win a World Series, I don't know if anybody gives a damn. But if you want to be critical and don't think they'd win a World Series, because I don't think that they would be very highly picked to win the World Series if they made the postseason. But if you don't think so, then fine. They made the postseason 2 of the last 3 years, last 2 years altogether. They went to an ALCS. They might have got to a wild card. We'll see how this goes. If they do all that, then you can be as nasty as you want to about Paul. You mean nasty anyway, but this gives you legitimate reasoning behind that. Is the point I'm making.
Yeah, I get
yes, it's in every way possible. It's worth it.
Would it at all be interesting if I told you, hey, they got Manzardo, doing what he has been doing, and he certainly looks like somebody who you're going to be able to count on, right, going forward.
Yeah.
Kafis, who murdered that baseball, and I know it's been hit or miss, and he's had his
he's a pup.
He's had his droughts, but. Man, when you see the potential of that swing in the 8th inning yesterday to complete that, or for the go-ahead, come from behind win. And what have I told you? Since the 10-game losing streak, Guardians' record, 35-23.
It's a good record.
That's the third best in baseball.
They also had a big losing chunk in there,
and
too.
they did. They have the third best record in baseball since that streak. Is that not incredible to you?
It is pretty wild.
What does that tell you about baseball in general?
So then it would probably tell you that you need to jump in already.
Well, and imagine
Or
if you had a
soon.
closer. What did somebody listens to the show, JN and Menor? What did he tell you? How many games did he say we lost?
He said 8. That guy's as hardcore as it gets. He says, by his thought, he says 8. That they would be 8 games better than what they are now. That would put them where? In the wild card, certainly?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, at 8, they're 8.5 back of the Tigers right now. So you can't say that it'd be an even race there, but they'd probably be 2 or 3 with 6 games left with the Tigers still.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have not come out and said it, but I keep bringing up the 6 games with the Tigers. I think it's huge. I think you can walk into this weekend. If the Tigers have a bad weekend and you have a good weekend, you can roll into Tuesday's showdown with the Tigers with these games absolutely meaning way more than anyone thought they would.
Do you believe we're only a quarterback away?
Boy, I absolutely love that question. And this goes along.
This weekend, answer it.
This goes along with what Mary Kay talked about, another Super Bowl window. And I know people were scoffing. People were like, you're gonna let Mary Kay off the hook on talking about a second Super Bowl window. And then I'm thinking about what's going on. I know they lost last night and it hasn't looked great in the first 2 games for Jaden Daniels. But what did we say? And they got a lot of veterans on that Washington team. What did we say the minute they got a good quarterback? Changed everything. It changed everything for the whole organization. I know he hasn't played well. They're 1-1. He hasn't played well so far. But if they, with this defense, Myles Garrett and then Denzel Ward, we know they're getting up there in years, but I have no reason to believe that either of those two can't continue to be really good. And then you look on that defensive line. They just got another. Now, who knows about JOK, but you just got a linebacker that posted one of the best first week of all the rookies, especially defensive players in the game. Secondary that overperformed. I was worried outside of Denzel what they were going to do against Cincinnati. They're fine. They're absolutely fine, even without Martin Emerson. You can make the case that if they get a good quarterback, now that doesn't mean win a Super Bowl or necessarily even contend for a Super Bowl next year. And then sometimes we see sophomore slumps with a lot of these quarterbacks. So it might be another year down the road. Who knows? But yeah, that's how the NFL works. The NFL, you can instantly get to the playoffs. CJ Stroud did it. Jordan Love, the minute he got to play, they got into the playoffs and made a run. It can happen in this sport.
I'm going to answer this with Nathan and 901. And should Grant Delpit talk his trash? All that and coming in hot, 944. But we got Nathan next on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carmen here for KC Roofing, kcroof.net. Now,
by getting to 923thefan.com or favorite 923 The Fan on the Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All eyes are on the Browns kicker this week in Baltimore.
He missed it wide right.
This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns.
It looked as if it might hit the upright.
92.3 The Fan.
We got Browns, we got Ravens, we got a lot to talk about that, and we'll go around the league with Nathan Zagura, who joins us right now as we got coming in hot at 9:45 this morning. But Nathan joins us right now from the Browns Radio Network, and of course your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football. 92.3 The Fan. He's on the Fan Hotline. Nathan, good morning.
Good morning, Montfrere. Great to be with you.
If Quinshon Judkins can go on Sunday, how do the Browns intend on using him?
That's a great question, Ken. That is a great question. I do think Quinshon Judkins will go. I think that he will be, eased in. I don't expect him to jump into the role that they envisioned when they drafted him, which is to be the guy that's going to, touch the ball 15 to 20 times a game and be the lead back. I think that he would work in with Dylan Sampson and probably to a lesser extent Jerome Ford. I think Sampson certainly has earned more opportunities after what we saw from him in that season opener. But I could see a situation where Quinshon Judkins gets, maybe 10 carries and gets the work that Rocket Sanders got last week down at the goal line, being that short yardage situation is the bigger and more powerful of the Browns' back. So I think that there definitely is a role for him. I think that it's not going to be full Quinshon Judkins in the way that we all envisioned it, probably for a couple of weeks.
I know it's a different position. Like in the past, I've said, running back, it's plug and play. You can put him in at any point. But what about, Nathan, you're in the building. What about, his I was going to say his physique, but that's a weird way to talk about a running back. But just what kind of shape?
Condition.
Yes. What kind of shape is he in? And to play the role of running back, like is Joe Flacco going to be comfortable with him having to pick up maybe a blitz here and there?
Yeah, so let me tell you, he had an incredibly impressive spring. I mean, people were over the moon excited about him. Now yesterday was his first practice since then. So there's condition and then there's football shape, right? But as I said earlier, I don't think they're going to ask him to, carry the ball 20 times and be the bell cow. I think what they're going to say is, maybe you're going to get 20 plays out there, Quinshon Judkins, and you'll be able to stay fresh. I don't think they'll go many consecutive plays in a row. If you are going to play, they have to be comfortable with you in a pass situation. You can't get to the point where Quinshon Judkins is only going to play when you're going to run the football. That's just too easy for the opposing defense. And by the way, this was the number one run defense in the National Football League a year ago in Baltimore. So, yes, I think if he is out there, that tells you that they are comfortable with what they have seen. His conditioning is good. He does look to be in great shape. I've gotten a chance to talk with him and see him. He looks fantastic. But again, there's football shape, and I think that comes with playing, getting into the game. So I think, as I said, they'll ease him in. I expect him to play a role this week. I'm sure we'll hear some confirmation of that. But putting a full practice yesterday, that was great. That's a great sign, and I think he'll be ready to go on Sunday.
We got Nathan Zagura joining us here on the Fan Hotline. So as far as everybody else from last week, was there anything that was better than what you thought it was going to be that we can build on?
I really, again, I don't know if it was better than I thought it was going to be, but, I came into that game with high expectations for our rookie class, and we saw that. I think we saw Dylan Sampson with the 8 catches. We saw Harold Fannin with the 7 catches and a willing blocker. We saw Carson Swessinger all over the place. I thought that Mason Graham in the second half had a very nice showing. Aiden Huntington had another classic Aiden Huntington big hit on special teams. So I thought you saw that rookie class, and I think Isaiah Bond, I'm telling you, it's coming. You can see it. If you go back and watch the tape, there were a couple opportunities where we could have maybe pushed the ball down the field to him. I know that the Browns do want to get the ball down the field a little bit more. Perhaps this is a game. The Ravens, they like to play a lot of cover zero. In fact, last week, 15% of their defensive snaps were cover zeros. And so I think there's an opportunity. You get him in some man coverage to get the ball down the field to Isaiah Bond. So I'm excited about what he brings to the table. So rookies there, and then you say maybe better than I expected. Look, anybody who told you they expected the Browns defense to hold the Bengals to 7 yards in the second half or to negative 23 yards, that's a real stat in the fourth quarter. Nobody could have foreseen that, but I was really encouraged by what I saw from the defense. I knew the line was going to be good. Second level, that was a question. You have a new player, a new starter, a rookie in Carson Swessinger who played great. And Devin Bush, former first-round pick, is playing great football. I thought he had a fantastic game in week 1 against Cincinnati. And then you go to the back end. Greg Newsome was out there on an island a lot with Jamar Chase in this game, and I thought Greg Newsome more than held his own. Browns held Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in this game to 59 yards. Dylan Sampson, Jerry Jeudy, and Harold Fannin all had more receiving yards individually. I think the thing that's just so frustrating is you can go through all the stats of that game and you say there's no way the Browns lose this game, and yet they did. And so that's got to be something that's got to be cleaned up. Kicker's got to make his kicks, and you got to catch the football. 4 drop passes last year. The Browns had 31. That was most in the NFL. 2 of those drops became interceptions. Another 2 came on consecutive plays that killed a drive in Cincinnati territory. Those are the differences between winning and losing, and so that stuff still needs to be cleaned up.
Nathan Zagura join us right now, getting us fired up as we get closer to Sunday's game. Of course, you can hear Nathan on 92.3 The Fan, the home of the Browns, for that game. So, obviously, the kicking situation, that was under the microscope given how you should have won that game. You had the better game. You had the better team, and they didn't win because of the kicker. How did you feel about the way the team handled the kicking situation this week by not bringing in anyone else?
Well, look, they have confidence in Andre Schmidt because of everything that he did. Every kick that they've charted since he was here, there was a very high percentage of makes. In fact, it was statistically such a margin that it led them to the decision that they had keeping him over Dustin Hopkins, who struggled last year, as we know. This has just been something that unfortunately has been a problem. You go and you look since 2020, since Kevin Stefanski's been the head coach, the Browns are dead last in extra point percentage. They're dead last on field goal percentage inside the 40. They're 31st on kicks between 40 and 49 yards. The only place where they're statistically better than the NFL average is on kicks of more than 50 yards because D-Hop had that amazing 8-for-8 season a couple of years ago. So that has been a problem. I know for a fact that they put him into some high-pressure situations this week because they had to. They had to see if he could respond to that, because I think the thing that's so interesting about field goal kicking, and a lot of people listening out there, we're all like to play golf, right? You've seen some of the best in the world. Go back to David Duval, who's number 1 in the world. A few years later, can't break 80 because the mental aspect of it becomes so big. And so they needed to test him. Listen, if you're Andre Schmidt, there couldn't be any more pressure, right? You have another week like that, you're not kicking in the National Football League. Your dream is probably over. So I hope that when he gets these opportunities, he converts on them. Kevin Stefanski, as a head coach of the league, has lost more points per game to missed kicks than any coach in the NFL during that span. And you just wonder, you go back to 2023. We don't have D-Hop kick like that. That's a very different year. And right now, we should be 1-0. And so hopefully Andre Schmidt can get it done. They have belief in him. Now he needs to reward that belief.
All right, what do I do about Cedric Tillman in the drop at the end? What do I do about Jerry Jeudy in the drop? What do I do about Harold Fannin in the drop? Everything else was great, but boy, the drops.
Yeah, the drops were tough. And really, you go Fannin. I talked with him yesterday. He's like, I got to make that catch. And you do. That's what you're paid to do. And I think that one where you had Fannin on 3rd down, Jeudy on 4th down, on just an easy slant, those were tough. You go to the interceptions. The ball from Flacco was not necessarily on target to Jerry Jeudy. He made a good diving effort to get it. It's kind of a freak thing that it ends up popping in the air and becoming an interception like that. On the Tillman one, when I watched it back, what I saw was just they were slightly off in the timing. And at the top of that route, if you go watch it back, Tillman really gets engaged with the defender and kind of gets a nice little push off there. But I think that little push off maybe delayed him from turning around. And so, boom, the ball's there. It's off his hands. It's into the air. It's an interception. I mean, we've both covered this team for a very long time, Ken. I can't remember 2 interceptions like that, maybe ever, let alone in one game, off guys' hands, just up into the air like that for interceptions. So I think those are fluky, but you've got to catch the football. I mentioned it earlier, 31 drops a year ago. That's under 2 a game. Browns had 4 drops in this week 1 loss. Cannot do that. We have got to execute and make the things that are simple, simple.
All right, Flacco last week, very interesting week because he didn't make the Flacco gaff interceptions, being aggressive. The interceptions were so fluky. I know some of the timing's off, whatever. But overall, he absolutely gave you a shot to win the game. And if there was one complaint I did notice is that maybe they weren't aggressive enough. Now, we defended it because Joe Burrow's on the other side, and you want to limit his possessions. What do you think the game plan will be this week?
I think, listen, there were shots in the game plan. In fact, the Browns wanted to hit many explosives in that game. One of the things last week that has been talked about is pre-snap, The Bengals showed middle of the field open, 2 high safeties as much as anybody in the league pre-snap. Now, they've moved out of that and rotated out of that a lot, but they showed a lot of those looks. And lots of times when you get some of those looks early on, you can check out of the plays if you have a play that is not necessarily built where they've got those 2 deep safeties. They also led the league in cover 6 last week. So cover 6 is half the field's cover 2, half the field's cover 4. So in essence, you almost get 3 deep safeties out of it depending on how the routes are run. That caused the Browns, I think, to take some of the layups and what I would call long handoffs in the pass game, which is how Dylan Sampson ended up with 8 catches. I mentioned earlier, Isaiah Bond. They are going to want to get vertical in this game with Bond, with Judy, with Tillman as well. There will be opportunities. I think you're going to get a little bit more single high this week from the Baltimore Ravens. Their top 2 coverages are cover 1 and cover 3. That allows you to take some of those shots. If you add it up in terms of no 2 deep safeties, cover 1, cover 2, 3, and their 0 blitz, it's well over 55% of their coverages. So there will be opportunities, I think, in this game against those looks to take shots. It's just a matter of having those plays dialed up at those moments. But yeah, the Browns want to push the ball down the field. It's one of the things Joe Flacco does very well. Again, the game plan in this one, I think they had those shots. At times, the defense kind of took that away with some of their looks, and the Browns were prudent. But it's too hard, as Tommy Rees said, to have 15 and 20-play drives. That's too hard in the NFL. So you need chunks, you need explosives. The Browns will certainly be looking for those this week against the Baltimore Ravens.
Who's the best quarterback right now in the NFL? Go.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Yeah.
I think it's Lamar Jackson. I think Josh Allen is great. I know he's the reigning MVP. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens ran 51 offensive plays last week and scored 40 points. They averaged 0.8 points per play that they ran. Lamar Jackson only was, 200 yards passing, 11 yards in attempts, ran for 70 and a touchdown. You go back to last year, this guy threw for over 4,000 yards. He threw for 41 touchdowns with 4 interceptions, and he ran for over 900 yards. There's never been a season in NFL history even close to that. So Josh Allen is very good. Joe Burrow is very good. I think that's clearly the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. When you're looking on the other side, Lamar Jackson, what he can do not only with his arm now and the ability, he's a 70% passer. He has elevated his game every year with Todd Monken, every single category, and he's also that threat with his legs. He's one of the most dynamic runners in the history of the National Football League. There are 2 players in the league since the start of last year that have averaged over 6 yards a carry on design runs. Both of them are Ravens, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So I think that element, he adds so much, and he makes the ground game around him better, because typically the run game is 10 on 11, right? The quarterback hands the ball off, he's not involved. It's 11 on 11 when you play the Ravens, and that makes it even more difficult. So my answer would be Lamar Jackson, but you know what stops that? Dominance up front, and the Browns defensive line certainly has the ability to do that.
Nathan, I heard you mention 2 quarterbacks and then one conspicuous by his absence. You didn't say Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes. I was going through it quickly in my head. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, absolutely one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That top 4 is in a class all to itself. There was a while where people saying, maybe Jaden Daniels is number 5, but yeah, Patrick Mahomes is there. The guy has never had a season end before the AFC Championship game. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes is absolutely one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Can you help me out where after they beat Buffalo in last year, heading into the Super Bowl, everyone was like unanimous in agreement. All right, Patrick Mahomes is here and everybody else is here. And then because of the Super Bowl and then week 1 in Brazil, now everybody is doing everything they can to name other quarterbacks other than Patrick Mahomes.
I think part of it is people get bored with greatness. I think another part of it is if you were to look at when Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill and they were throwing for 5,000 yards and 40-something touchdowns a year, they've played a different style of football of late, but all the guy does is win. And quite frankly, if you look at some of those games, and I know it did Super Bowl this year, the Eagles got the best of them, and I think Jalen Hurts is an elite young quarterback as well. He's not playing kind of a flashy game, but if he's down, for example, you go back to the Super Bowl 2 years ago when they beat the Niners, you knew he was going down the field to score a touchdown and win that game. And he did. So he's got the clutch meter. He has it when they need it. I think part of it is that he's just not putting up the kind of stats that he did earlier in his career because, number one, they don't have the personnel around him to do that. And number 2, that's not what Andy Reid and the Chiefs, that's not how they're trying to win games currently. If he gets back to that, I certainly think he has the capabilities to put up numbers like that. That's just not how they've operated. They've become a little bit more of a defensive and running football team. I think they've got a little bit of problems. I mean, it's the fact that they've had the run as long as they have is incredible. But when you get poached constantly, when you get poached in talent, poached in coaches, it's hard to maintain that. And I think that eventually that's got to catch up. It catches up with everybody. But Patrick Mahomes absolutely is elite. And quite frankly, right now, if you're doing the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, certainly of the modern era, say from the 80s on, you've got Montana, you've got Brady, you've got Mahomes, and then there probably could be a lot of debate about who the fourth would be, whether it be Peyton Manning or somebody else.
Nathan, thank you so much for the time. I'll talk to you on Sunday. All the best.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Nathan Zagura on the Fan Hotline. Strong stuff from him about the quarterbacks there. Said Lamar. We both thought he was going to say Josh Allen, didn't we?
Yes. And he said Lamar.
Yeah.
And so Lamar is obviously missing one thing. And I wouldn't even say a Super Bowl. He's missing one thing in this conversation, which is playoff success. He's been a different quarterback in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because it's not like Baltimore hasn't had good teams. It's not like he's had to carry Baltimore. He's been on good teams. He's been awesome in the regular season. But something about the playoffs, I think he presses. I think they got behind. He made some mistakes last year, early interception last year. And then you could tell the frustration mounts. That he played better in the second half. Frustration starts to mount with him because he knows, oh my God, I dominate all year. The numbers that he has put up throughout the early parts of his career are some of the best in the history of the league. Last year was an insane year from Lamar Jackson, but he hasn't done it in the playoffs at all. I know I sound like a hot take artist, but look, you can't deny it. He has not been able to do it in the playoffs.
All right, I'm going to call it how I see it when we come back because I think that we're doing a little bit too much NBA stuff with it. And if we're only a QB away, then we have to ask about another person whose future is very much up in the air. And I'm not talking about the person you just tweeted about. Don't you dare. Stop laughing.
He's looking good out there.
You sit there and you don't want people to call you to troll, and then you do that.
Cleveland loves a good comeback story, Ken.
They're not going to listen to us if we mention his name.
Okay.
So it's not him. It's not that person.
He's beating the Ravens on the road.
Coming in hot. Coming up at 9:44 on The Fan.
Anthony Limo.
podcast?
You can find us anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods.
Catch the full episode, listen by the hour, or jump straight to the highlights.
Just open up your favorite podcast app, search our names, and hit the follow button to get every minute of the show.
Your way and on your time.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Who's the best quarterback right now in the NFL? Go.
My answer would be Lamar Jackson, but you know what stops that? Dominance up front, and the Browns defensive line certainly has the ability to do that.
You didn't say Patrick Mahomes?
I was going through it quickly in my head.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes absolutely one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Can you help me out where, because of the Super Bowl and then week 1 in Brazil, now everybody is doing everything they can to name other quarterbacks other than Patrick Mahomes?
I think part of it is people get bored with greatness. I think another part of it is if you were to look at when Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill, they've played a different style of football of late. If he gets back to that, I certainly think he has the capabilities to put up numbers like that. That's just not how they've operated. They become a little bit more of a defensive and running football team.
That's Nathan Zagura. I totally agree with him in the one statement that he said. I don't have a problem with anything he really said, but the one thing I specifically agree with, we get tired of greatness. We get tired of talking about greatness. There's only so many times that you can say, like, how great is Patrick Mahomes? Oh, he's great. Okay, and yeah, he's great. Everything's really, really great. And I think fans get a little bit, and media definitely get a little bit tired of saying it. So we're in a big hurry to find somebody else and crown him. I think we do it just so we can have the argument. Like now it's like, well, Josh Allen has to be the best. I think what we're trying to do, I don't think it's content creation. I think it's boredom with the fans, everybody.
Yeah.
That we're trying to go, I think Josh Allen's better, and let me tell you why right now. And you start to have that argument. When you say Lamar's better, I think Lamar's better right now, and I'll tell you why. Like you start to have that because you want to have fun with it because it's been boring the last few years to say that Mahomes is just the best.
It has been, and obviously I was so sick and tired of Tom Brady after all those years. I was waiting to crown somebody else. But anytime anybody asks me, I'm like, yeah, Brady's the best. Okay, move on. You're right. I'd be like, let's get to the next question. So I guess I would ask everybody, and you tell me if this isn't a good or accurate metric to determine what we're talking about here. But, guys, game is on the line. You're down 4 points, and it's the Super Bowl, and you got 1 minute and 15 left, no timeouts. What quarterback do you want?
You're going with Patrick Mahomes.
Is anybody saying Lamar Jackson?
No.
Is anybody saying Josh Allen? Maybe some in Buffalo.
Maybe some.
But
you're saying Patrick Mahomes.
Come on. The answer is Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. That's the best quarterback in football. Why do we have to twist ourselves into a knot to try to answer this question just to make it more entertaining?
The shows are usually a lot of time to fill, buddy. And when you can get somebody to agree or disagree on it and have two sides and get it going, fine. But plus, and I'm not even saying it's like, well, you're only doing it for show. That's not what I'm doing either. I'm not even trying to be accusatory of TV opinion shows or radio shows. I'm saying that you can talk yourself in to believe it. Like, there's plenty of people out there who hate Patrick Mahomes, whether they're other AFC West fans or whether they're just tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They're tired because they know that Travis Kelce wouldn't be Travis Kelce without Patrick Mahomes. They're tired because then Travis Kelce wouldn't be with Taylor Swift because of Patrick Mahomes. Like, there's a whole thing to this. And so they're tired of it, and so they hate it, and so they're going, yeah, Josh Allen's better. Because I don't know who Josh Allen's getting married to, or I don't know. I have no idea about that. And the same thing for Lamar Jackson. I don't know anybody who he's with or whatever. And plus, you just get tired of talking about the same team in the NFL.
Isn't Josh Allen with a famous actress?
I don't know.
Haley Steinfeld.
She could come in here.
They got married.
She could come in here and slap the taste out of my mouth, and I would not know who she is.
Musician and actress.
What?
Burrow's got a model. He's got like the Sports Illustrated model.
I don't know. I'm pointing out.
A Batmobile.
And she stopped the home invasion, didn't she?
I don't know about any of this.
Know that either.
I have no idea about any of this. You went way off the whole thing here. What are you doing?
Laura Croft?
Well, you were talking about just their level of fame.
Yeah. And they're tired of talking about Patrick Mahomes. And they're going to say, is there anybody out there who could say that Patrick Mahomes isn't the best quarterback in the NFL right now? No.
Oh, man, I'm amazed to see how many people are going with anything but the guy that's, to me, clearly the guy you would want. And I know their offense has changed. Guys have gotten older. Kelsey's not the same. I get all that, but we're talking about everything else but the quarterback.
I think what Nathan said is actually the strongest opinion of all of them. He said right now that Lamar. I think that we are very recent results based.
Mm-hmm.
I bet there were plenty of people who saw that game and go, that's why he's not the best. That's why Josh is the best right now.
Oh, they didn't put it on Henry?
He didn't fumble the ball.
Yeah, and they went conservative.
No, I think that they look at it and go, because it's exactly what you said. Out of the three, how would you rank? Minute and a half left to go. Who are you going down the field with? It would be Patrick, then Josh, then Lamar.
Well, do people think that's different from who the best quarterback is? That's the most clutch.
I do think a lot of people don't think about the most clutch thing when they're factoring in. They're doing the who's the most entertaining to me right now. And I'll agree. Right now, the least entertaining of those three is Patrick Mahomes.
Can you think
because since they've won Super Bowls, the idea is not about big and flash. It's about conserve and wait. They went and won a ton of games last year, and part of that was their schedule. But it was more about being conservative and having it for the playoffs, and it has been that way for 4 years.
But are there any quarterbacks out there that you would trust to go down the field in the final minute of the game anymore, but there aren't elite quarterbacks?
Well, the one would have been Burrow, but now
he's elite.
Now it's gotten further away. We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily his fault.
But you would put him either on the cusp of elite or elite.
But then, watching us dominate him last week, I kept thinking to myself, well, I don't think this is Burrow's fault because guys are bearing down on him and he's still throwing dimes. His receivers weren't getting their legs down or whatever. I thought he was putting it on guys.
Yeah.
But I also thought to myself, if you're supposed to be in the category of best quarterback, there shouldn't be a defense that can neutralize you.
But
and this has happened a few times now with the Browns.
The argument I'm making here is maybe Kenny Stabler, and Kenny Stabler ended up being a Hall of Famer posthumously.
Well, there was a guy that was in the NFL. He's still in the NFL. He was on the Browns roster that a certain aunt would say was a great fourth quarter quarterback.
Clutch.
Well,
he was
okay,
clutch.
That's the best argument. Fine. Because I don't know of anybody, like in the NBA, Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob. It's like, all right, final seconds. Yeah. Bob's out on the floor. He averaged 7.7 a game.
Yeah, very different
his entire career. So you weren't playing the full 48 with Robert Horry.
But if all 7.7 of those came in the last minute of the game.
There you go.
Well, it felt like the Yankees in the 90s had 7 guys that weren't elite, but man, could they come through with the game on the line.
Step in there in the moment. Matt Stairs was a good baseball player. Matt Stairs was known for hitting big home runs when they needed it to. I mean, Scott Atterberg, a lot of guys like that. But in the NFL, it's like, well, yeah, a quarterback who you can lead down the field in the final minute of the game usually is an elite quarterback. I can't really find a whole lot of examples of anybody else.
If it's 3rd and 14 and we've got to convert here and maybe,
Chad Henne.
You're in the point where, hey.
You gonna make that argument?
No, I'm not at all. I mean.
I still can't get over that.
Derail that.
I still can't get over that.
What were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Let's just move on.
Well, what were you going to say?
I hate you.
Hey, your team won that game.
Yeah. Why are you mad? You don't need to be mad. I'm not mad at you.
I'm mad at you.
I'm mad at the Ravens. I ain't mad at you.
It's not like I'm Rob Long.
Hey, look, nope. I am fine.
And you never will be. Thank God.
I am fine by the end of the year. If Lamar gets over the hump, if Josh Allen gets over the hump, and they put up these incredible years like they do every year, if they do it again and get over the hump, fine. I'm just not using 2 games. Last year's Super Bowl and Week 1 in Brazil. I'm not changing my mind with 2 games.
They did this. This has happened to Mahomes for the last few years. It happened when they lost to the Lions on Thursday night after they had won the Super Bowl. And I know it because I get asked by every little kid that I coach and their dads and people that tweet me. They go, "Why is he washed?" He's not washed, guys. There's just once you get to a certain level in your career, I don't have to worry about being the best on week 3 because everybody knows he's going to be around come week 15 and beyond, right?
I think that by the time we get to the postseason, you will hear a lot of the arguments going, who wants to take on Kansas City in the postseason? Oh, that might be different this year. And it may very well be. I mean, I think they're going through a bit of a roster transition that every team goes through.
I mean, they found their guy, and then he drove too fast, and then he tore his knee up, and now he's back, but he's setting out because he drove too fast. And then they found another fast guy, and then Travis Kelce ran into him last week in Brazil. They've got guys. They'll be around.
Speaking of moving on from all that, bud. 216-474-0092. Why? Coming in hot. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. 216-474-0092. And if we're only a quarterback away, then we have to ask about another person whose future is very much up in the air. And it ain't the person that Lima just tweeted about out there, that it's getting everybody in a dander. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the absolutely free Odyssey app and watch us for free on YouTube Live.
Anthony Lima for Fanatics Sportsbook as
Products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
You'll hear the latest from Browns practice as it happens. Basket and Phelps, weekdays at 10, 92.3 The Fan.
This is Coach Kevin Stefanski, and it's time for Coming In Hot.
Do you believe right now, or is it too early? We're only a quarterback away.
I think I made a case for it, Kenny. As I was talking about it, I was like, do I sound ridiculous right now?
Well, if you believe that we're closer to being only a quarterback away than not, which we've been looking for a quarterback for 30 years, so just being only a quarterback away can be a odyssey. Do you trust Kevin Stefanski with the QBs?
You know what? I think I do.
If you trust Kevin Stefanski with the QBs, then we have to have a serious conversation about whether or not he stays no matter the record. How you like that?
Wow. Even if they go.
If you trust him with the QBs.
Even if they go 3-14.
Yeah. You have to have a conversation. And it's not about the quarterback that you're tweeting about. Stop it.
Some interesting
That's
video.
2 weeks in a row you've trolled people.
Listen,
that's 2 in a row.
You call it a troll.
That's 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2.
I'm disseminating information
2 times
in a responsible manner.
2. That many. That is not. That's not responsible. It's irresponsible.
I thought he was going to be out all year with an injury. I thought we were getting insurance money.
You got the responses you want.
He's basically doing backflips in these videos. He's like Willy Wonka making his way over to the gate.
He wrote, Cleveland loves a great... all caps. Cleveland loves a great comeback story. How fitting to see number 4 getting closer to returning during Ravens week, a team he's been able to conquer on the road.
That was one of those do you remember where you were moments. The 14 of 14 in the second half.
And, of course, your responses are most are unreadable. Nathan Insane says comebacks pave the way for setbacks.
That was a good one.
That was good. It's time for Coming In Hot. That's the wonderful way to start coming in hot with you.
All right, Cleveland, it's time to get whatever you want off your chest. Cleveland, you're coming in hot. The phone lines are open now.
216-474-0092. Away we go. Hello, you're first up on Coming In Hot. Wait a minute. You threw me off. You're coming in hot. Hello.
We can take 3 more.
Bang up so far.
Okay, we're off and running. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Miles Garrett's going to be on Lamar Jackson like blood on Ray Lewis.
Diabolical question. You have it lined up today, Kenny?
I might need one. Oh, I got one. Yeah, I got one. Hello, you're coming in hot.
This influx of broken bats has gotten out of hands, gentlemen. Not only does Sandy Alomar Jr. have to avoid foul balls,
got it. Oh, you got it. All right, sorry, Owen. Sorry,
That's
Owen.
a double
Sorry,
get
Owen.
it, and now we'll just sit here.
Back to back and
You know what?
belly to belly.
Should I ask the diabolical question
Yes.
because that person did that?
Let's go.
216-474-0092. We're gonna sit here until it ramps up. Okay, we're getting close.
You got a question?
I got a question.
Okay.
Hell yeah, I got a diabolical question.
Let's go.
Would you give up 2 first-round picks, the 2 first-round picks next year for Baker Mayfield?
Oh, boy.
216-474-0092. There you go.
Boy.
That'll fix your wagon, won't it?
2, did you say unprotected?
Would you give up this isn't the NBA. Would you give up your 2 first-round picks next year for Baker Mayfield? Unright the wrong.
Phones are back.
You know what? We got to go back to the phones now.
Oh, okay.
They're just in time.
2 can play the nasty game. Hello, you're coming in hot.
The Cleveland Cavaliers have decided not to use the name Rockers for their new NBA team, and they're going with Archangels.
Okay. Well done. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I had to call in because your app that always works isn't working from Naples, Florida. Joe Mers on X. How are you guys?
I got something for you, Joe, to help.
What are you doing? Come on! What's the matter?
Owen.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
We have a different complaint guy. That
That's not nice.
It's not like I'm tech support.
I mean, we got fans from all over the country.
I didn't know what he was saying.
We have a regular, and you're going to do that to him?
No.
I swear to God. Was it about the app not working for him?
Here's my thoughts.
That's ridiculous. We're trying to grow the show.
I just turned off Anthony's mic.
I had no idea.
Do whatever you want.
Oh, now they're calling in to answer the diabolical question. Hello, Chris in Chicago.
Guys, I was ready to do my coming in hot bit that I haven't done in months. It was a very famous one, but you know what? That's okay. Diabolical question. You know what? No. Is it the Baker Mayfield 2 first-round drafts? Are you kidding me? Come on. No way.
No, well, hey, I didn't ask the I didn't ask the question to be nice about it.
The question.
I said I didn't ask the question to be nice about it. I asked the question because I thought.
Can't wait till the show.
I thought today people were. You mean all together or for just for the day?
Permanently.
Oh yeah. I was probably thinking the same thing. I had a feeling today would get out of hand, and it got out of hand. So now I'm going to just ask the diabolical question of the day. Were you going to give up 2 first-round picks next year for Baker? What did you say?
Well, I have a thought about it, but we're running out of time.
Kyle in Paramount, you're next up on the Fan. What?
Until you run the scores on the bottom of the screen, I spend my Friday evenings now with Mark Schwab, a.k.a. Schwabe.
Is he on the radio station?
No.
Is he on the radio station?
I was wrong. Coming in hot's over. Here we go.
That's
Thank
it?
you.
It's over just like that?
Yeah.
Schwabe's a colleague.
I'm going to ask the diabolical question now.
He is a colleague.
We can
I
take
hope you guys are all happy.
little question here. I just want everyone to know that participated in coming in hot.
All happy.
Thought you were all stupid, and we might not ever do it again if that continues to happen. So this is the outro to coming in hot.
Now we just got to do the regular show.
Do a regular show for
wow.
20 minutes. Here we go.
Will in Olmsted Falls. Hello.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're doing wonderful. This is punishment time. Would you give up 2 first-round picks for Baker Mayfield?
No, but I do have a question. Who will win Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Parsons or Myles Garrett?
Probably Micah Parsons. Probably Micah Parsons.
Was he going for the gag?
Now we can't even do this. All right.
Oh, is it because he said Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured he was. I forgot the Jerry Jones thing of it. Mark and Menor, hello.
No, I'm coming in hot.
I don't think you have that choice.
Oh, that is not the way. Introduce yourself.
No.
Bye.
Owen is, oh boy. Oh, your leg is going to get tired. Sorry, fellas. Curtis in Omaha. Curtis, answer the question.
No, but take a knee, boys. I'm going to try to turn this around. In a few moments, you will be a part of the largest insult to an NFL fan base in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have a new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our personal interests anymore. We have to be united with the passion of our fans. Perhaps it's fate that today we play in Baltimore as they commemorate the 30th anniversary, not of their own team or franchise.
So we're playing diabolical question time. You're coming in hot just because you feel like doing it.
What are you doing? Why are you getting out of? Why are you leaving the studio? I don't know what the reference was. Do you know what the reference was?
What was that?
Why are you going off camera?
I'm done.
No?
This is an all-time low moment.
It is. I feel bad because I was hoping there would be some sense of decorum. Of course there wasn't. And then here we were. Hey, you're going to do what you got to do.
I can't wait for Baskin and Phelps.
We can just do that now because we're done. We're not even going to play a song to end the show.
Owen.
You say Happy Tall Boy Friday, Ken.
And this might be the end of the segment.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to. I'm being sent to bed without dinner.
Yeah, that's how it's happening today, buddy boy. March your ass upstairs,
boy. Huh. Well, you're not going to play any music?
Nope. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mitch.
I don't know how to end the
Wizard.
Happy
I don't know how to
TBF.
end the show without music.
Here we go. Just say Happy Tall Boy Friday.
All right.
You guys ruined it for everybody.
I hope you have a wonderful Tall Boy Friday, and I hope you think long and hard about what's happened here in this final segment today. Is coming in hot on the ropes right now because of this?
It's on the ropes, yep. Okay, go to bed
boy.
now.
Yeah, boy.
Whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more